What's up tonight, everyone? Welcome. Fine Thursday to you all. Good to see ya. What is up? Winzo, Reindeering, Lucid, MTG Goldfish, Eagle, Rooker Dog, Duretti Spaghetti, Magical Sheep, Freeze It Fist, Dyer, Diego, FSV. How is everyone doing tonight? Good to see ya. Oh, it has been a pretty sweet day. Commander Legends 2 spoilers. Got to play Commander Clash today, and now we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna try out some Grixis Vampires in Standard, maybe some fight rigging in Explorer, or maybe in Standard. I don't even know, but we're gonna be jumping around, talking Commander Legend, having fun, playing some Magic. So hopefully everyone is having a spectacular day. I love fight rigging too. We got some sweet decks. So here's what we got, and then we'll talk about spoilers and all that stuff. Hey, what's up, TJ? How are you? Good to see you. Crane in Kennel. Boy, dark names are hard to read on dark mode on Twitch, aren't they? Some of the names I just really can't see. So here's what we got today. We got a few different options deck-wise. We're starting with Grixis Vampires. I don't know if you saw this. There's actually a big tournament this weekend, the Set Championship, and they released the metagame. I don't know if I can find it again, but they released the... Oh, it's probably at magic.gg. They released the metagame, and oh my god. The metagame does not look super good, honestly. Does not make me super hyped to watch this tournament. Some of it looks interesting. It's Historic and Standard. Historic, 30% is at Phoenix, 17% Golgari Food, 11% Auras, 9% Affinity, 30% is a Phoenix. I don't even know. I don't know. I've kind of moved past Historic, honestly. Now that we got Explorer, I just don't really play Historic. So whatever, Phoenix it up. But what caught my eye is the Standard meta. In the Standard meta, okay, 35% Esper midrange, not ideal. 13% Naya Runes, that makes sense. 13% Jeskai, Goldspan, Lear stuff. Sure, Jund midrange, 9%. The deck that caught my eye, 5% Grixis Vampires. Grixis Vampires is not a deck I've seen anyone play, and now it's the 5th most played deck at a really big, really important tournament. And that got me thinking, maybe we should try to play Vampires. Maybe Evelyn is the truth in Standard and no one realized it. We played Corpse Appraiser and Explorer and it was really good. So we're gonna try some Grixis Vampires tonight. Do we know when the first Explorer tournament is scheduled? We don't. I think there might be some like smaller like player run events, but I have not heard of any big ones coming up. Power Dad, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super cheer for you. Thank you. So we're starting off with some Vampire action in Standard, and then as backup decks, we got two sweet ones. There is this Call Me a fight rigging deck that Crokies actually posted a few days ago that combined together two of my favorite things in Standard. We had super good time playing fight rigging, and then also it's got Call Me War, and it also has Titan of Industry and just all these weird shenanigans. So maybe we try that. And I also put together the Explorer Jund fight rigging deck we've been talking about, trying to cheat big things into play with Shakedown Heavies and Obnixiluses to instant ultimate with Regisaurs and Velkies and all this stuff. So we're gonna be jumping around having some fun. So that is the plan for today. Oh, and you want cool artisan specific decks. Do they do artisan tournaments, Rooker? Artisan seems like a format that Wizards should embrace more. I don't know if they will, because they probably make less money than if they were getting people to buy rares, but it's kind of got the Pauper problem in that sense, where like the Pauper issue, where Pauper is a format some people really like, but Wizards tends not to support it that much, because what are they going to do, sell a bunch of commons? Like, you can't sell a master set of commons. No one's going to buy a master set of commons because commons are cheap. So it has this weird tension there. Hey, what's up, Sir Robert? How are you? The other big news of the day is, of course, Commander Legends 2. We're 2-3 days into spoiler season. What do you all think about this set? Where are we at with Commander Legends? I think for me, my favorite part of the set so far is definitely the gate support. I want to see the rest of the gates. Every gate that they print just seems so absurd. This new one, Gone Gate, uncommon even, gates you control enter the battlefield untapped, adds a colorless or a mana of any color gate that you control could produce. So a 5-color gate that makes all your gates come into play untapped, that is exactly what gates need. Like, that is so perfect for a gate deck. So really excited to see what gates can do with this new stuff. And then there's a lot of just interesting cards. I haven't seen too many commanders that seem busted. Elminster might be one of them, honestly. Like, Elminster seems really strong. Tasha seems pretty sweet as far as being a commander. But then we've got a lot of, it's been a weird spoiler season because Wizards decided to take in, oh yeah, if the gate stuff was, that'd be so sweet if it was Pioneer Legal or Modern Legal or something. Wizards decided that for spoiler season this time, they're going to do all the legends first, and then apparently next week they're going to do more non-legends. So we haven't seen much as far as like big reprints or just generic stuff. So far, we've just seen a ridiculous amount of legendary creatures. Some of them are pretty sweet, like Duke Alder seems really sweet and like Ishid. We got Simic Dragon action going on, so there's definitely some really fun stuff in the set. It seems like it's going to be sweet. Who's the choice for a gate commander? I don't know. I'm hoping that we get a good gate commander. The choice in the past was probably Golos, but Golos isn't a thing anymore in Commander. So I'm not really sure. Any lands matters commander is going to be fine, but you really kind of want to be 5 colors, especially if you're going to try to Maze's End. I don't know. Who's your favorite new commander so far? I think it's still Merkel. Is that the name of it? The Abzan God. The Abzan God is just such a cool card. That was my favorite one on day one, and I think it's still my favorite. We've got some other really sweet ones. There's a lot of interesting commanders. We've also seen a lot of uncommon commanders, which don't seem super duper pushed, but are interesting. And we got to remember too with a set like this, it's also supposed to be for limited. So we have all this stuff that when you see something and you're like, I don't know, this probably isn't going to make it in constructed. Some of the worst backgrounds, for example, are good examples of this. You see these backgrounds and you're like, I don't know, why would I ever play that in a game of Commander? It just like doesn't seem that good. But remember, they're also trying to make a functional limit set that people are going to want to draft. So you got that, and then you got that going on as well. Morchorix, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup to you for you. Thank you. Yeah, what do you think of that card? This is one of the newest commanders we've seen. I haven't got to think about it a ton yet. Alondro the Seer, 4 mana, 3/5 human shaman. Tap it, draw a card, exile a card from your hand. Put a number of time counters on it equal to its mana value. It gains when the last time counter is removed. You can cast it for free, and you can, when you tap it, you remove a time counter from all your stuff that is suspended with time counters. Really interesting commander. I don't think it's Joyra broken, which I think is a good thing. The other suspend commander we have is Joyra, but Joyra is just too good. Joyra gets you killed. If you don't know Joyra is like over the top. It just suspends things for 2 mana for 4 turns, and most people just play like Blightsteals and Eldrazi's, and it's just so strong. So if anyone sees a Joyra, they're just going to try to kill you because they know that something huge is going to come off suspend and win the game. So Joyra is like too good, too strong for its own good. I think this new one is kind of in the right spot for a suspend commander. Like, it's still powerful, it still works with the mechanic, but I don't think you're just going to get arch enemied out of the game immediately. Ooh, let me see, Doug. Anyway, let's do our reminders. Start playing some Magic. We can talk about Commander Legends and I don't know, whatever else. Bearby is snoring next to me. Tired puppy. Replay YouTube. This week, find all the old streams, including this one in the future. Can you host an artisan tournament as a community event? Ooh, we've never really hosted tournaments, but that could be fun, Rugger. I like the idea of it. We'll have to see. Oh, World Fire Joyra. Busted. Normal YouTube. Spoiler videos. How did you like the Urbrask and Taxes deck? I've had so much fun playing Explorer, I have to say. If you haven't seen Urbrask and Taxes for yesterday's Against Odds, it worked way better than I thought. We actually were able to hardlock people out of the game. A little salty that they banned Tibalt's Trickery, which was actually super fun in that deck, and like fair in that deck. But Explorer's been super sweet, and Urbrask impressed me. It's way better than I expected it to be. I thought it was pretty janky, but Urbrask actually proved to be pretty good. A reminder that our sponsor today is Card Kingdom, and if you need some cards, maybe from Commander Legends too, maybe from Streets into a Competa. I don't know, if you had 1 million sets in the last week, or in the last few months, I guess not last week. We're not to that point yet. We're getting multiple sets a week, but we have so many sets. You can get all the cards over at cardkingdom.com. Even get a free goldfish sticker. Just let them know you want one in your order notes and they'll hook you up. Otherwise, Discord, new and improved merch page, token, t-shirts, playmats. Go to support the stream and the channel and the site. Donations always appreciated, never required. $2 support gets your message read on stream. And let's play some Magic. So we're going to start with Vampires. What do you think of this Vampire deck? Do you have any feedback? So I want to try to build a good vampire deck, so it's not like super janky. I mean, obviously, it's Evelyn Vampire, so I guess by definition, it's pretty janky. It's vampire tribal. Every creature in the deck, I believe, is a vampire. You got some decent removal, and basically, we're just trying to play vampires and play Evelyn and steal our opponent's deck. I thought about trying to go more towards the theft plan and play like Siphon Insight and stuff, but I'm not sure that's worth it. Like, whenever I think, okay, let's add Siphon Insight to steal more stuff, but that requires cutting vampires, and Evelyn lets us steal stuff when we play vampires, so I'm not even sure we thieve more cards if we add things like Siphon Insight compared to just having more vampires. So I don't know. Open to feedback. I built this deck today. I wanted to find a list from the set championship, but apparently the lists aren't public yet. So if you got feedback or ideas, definitely open to improvements. But essentially, we're playing vampires, we're stealing cards with Evelyn, we get some Bloodchief Thirst, Strangles, Infernal Grasp for removal, Fable the Mirror Breaker filters through the deck Ob Nixilis because it's in our colors and it's really strong, and basically play a bunch of vampires and hope for the best. It's more of a mid-range deck. I would say it's vampire mid-range. I did have one Xander. I was going back and forth. The problem with Xander is maybe it's still worth it, but we don't really have a way to ramp into it. And when you play Xander on like turn 7, your opponents usually don't have a ton of cards in hand. The mill ability, I mean, we can play one of them for fun. I'm down with adding one for fun over like, maybe go 3 obs rather than 4 obs. I'm fine with that. Expressive Iteration, that is a really strong card in our colors, but I don't know if I want to cut more vampires. The Urbrass Prison deck worked way better than I thought it would. 61 card special. I guess we can. Or we can cut a Ob Nixilis. Either way. Yeah, let's try it like that. We'll try one Xander. There's a couple of Sorens in the sideboard for control. I think Soren's a little hit or miss. Against control, it's really good. Against aggro, not as good. Kaido's in our colors. Oh. It is. And it is a really good card. I don't know how many Planeswalkers I want. We gotta have enough vampires. I'm afraid if we play too many Planeswalkers, we'll just end up being like a Grixis control deck. I don't want to be a Grixis Crim deck. I want to be a vampire deck. Corpse Appraiser are so good. Are you playing in any pre-release pods 2 weeks from tomorrow? Perhaps. I don't know. I'm going to be around the event all day Friday and Saturday, just hanging out and playing something. So maybe I'll do some pre-releases. I'll definitely be jamming just a lot of games with whoever wants to play down at Command Fest Richmond. Oh, thank you, Luke. How are you, by the way, Luke? Valky over Xander. Valky is probably a stronger card, that's true. What do you think of Standard? How has Standard been for you? I'm a little worried about 35% Esper. Like, if people watch this tournament and that's what the meta becomes, I almost wonder if we're gonna need to ban Esper or something. I'm not calling for banning. Anytime I say anything like that, there's some people that think it's a call for banning, but that's not what I'm trying to say. But Esper doesn't really lose much at rotation. It's already really, really good. Already 35% of the meta. So I am a little concerned that it could end up being too good. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what comes in Dominaria. What comes in Dominaria United. Maybe that... Ooh. Oh, no. Oh, no. Another Grixis deck. Well, hopefully our opponent's also playing vampires. Esper loses mana base. Well, I don't know. I feel like judging losses by mana is silly for 2 reasons. One is every deck's going to lose the same lands. And 2 is we'll probably get a land cycle in Dominaria United. Like, pretty much every big fall set has a land cycle. So I guess there's some chance that the lands just are horrible for Esper for some reason. Like, they're too slow or too tapped or something. But really... I don't think that's a vote against a deck, really, because every deck is impacted by it. And I would think that they would have a motivation. Well, I mean, let's play this on blue. I would think that they would have a motivation to print good lands. They're going to juice. Here, you want a prediction? They're going to juice Dominarian Brothers War. I think they are. Rangerman, welcome to the visual. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you. Emerson Predator could be good in this deck. Like, we know we're going into Magic's 30th anniversary celebration. Wizards were just talking about that. So we're going to Magic's 30th anniversary celebration. I think that Wizards is going to go out of their way to I think that Wizards going to go out of their way to try to juice this set. That is my prediction. Well, we'll discard one land. Draw a Strangle. Play a Florian. Smash our opponent. See if we can hit a land. Make a treasure. I mean, so far so good. Florian's a sweet card. All right, so we get to tutor 3 deep. Try to find a land. Castle Dracula. Yes. And go. All right, we're off to a good start. We're off to a very good start. You know what that would be? Getting rid of the reserve list would be the perfect 30th anniversary celebration. Sticky. What? Huh? What is happening? What is going on? Huh? Is this a thing people do? Is this a build my own Ragavan in standard? Sticky Fingers. Enchantment creature has menace when it deals combat damage to a player to make a treasure token when it dies, draw a card. It's pretty much build a Ragavan, build a monkey. Wouldn't Magic be so sweet without the reserve list? Think of all the cool things they could reprint. Think of how cheap prices could get for like building awesome mana bases and Commander. People could play Legacy. It would be so good. I hope they do something. I mean, I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith that they're actually going to get rid of the reserve list, but I do hope that they do something sweet for the anniversary. Base set Charizard. So Charizard, I don't know Yu-Gi-Oh. Is that like the Black Lotus of Yu-Gi-Oh? The Black Lotus of about it of X-Men. About it. Hey, what's up, Mindset Throw? How are you? Charizard. I nailed it, right? Charizard. See, I can pronounce Yu-Gi-Oh cards, just not Magic cards. Opponent passes. Ooh, Maestro's Turf is actually kind of sweet. Well, step 1. Attack our opponent brutally with everything. Are we going to let the Kaido live? Actually, you know what? You can kill the Kaido. Mega Treasure. Charizard. Oh, gonna phase out the token. Okay. Well, that's fine. Annoying, but fine. Hit our opponent for a bunch. Go tutoring. Bearbee's doing good. Bearbee's doing excellent. Ooh. Evelyn, Corpse Appraiser, Bloodthirsty Adversary. In a land. Maybe we just take a land again? I feel like we need to kill the Kaido. Yeah, take the land. Strangle the Kaido. Play Xander's Lounge. Pass the turn. Oh no. Oh, I tweeted Tasha's Hideous Laugh, and people did not get it. No, apparently no one on Twitter watches the stream. I'm very disappointed in Twitter because apparently they don't come and hang out with us. But I tweeted the Hee-mee-hoo is the Hideous Laugh with the new with the new Tasha card, and a lot of people thought it was some like Thursday thing, which is so far away. So far away is what I was intending it to be. I know if they watched the stream, they would have known. Opponent gonna sticky it to us here. You should play Sticky Finger sometimes. It's actually great. Maybe we'll have to try to build a Sticky Finger stack. The other card that is intrigued me is the 2-drop that gets double strike with Connive. Maybe there could be something with Sticky Fingers and the Conniving 2-drop. Well, let's run out Evelyn. Opponent kills our Keeks. Slip out the back. Omnixilus the adversary. Untap Corpse Appraiser. Go to combat. Here they come. Everything at the face. Get a treasure. Opponent. Oh, we're going to tutor so deep here. Opponent. Boom. Boom, boom. Down to 2. Actually, Maestro's Charm is just lethal, isn't it? Well, I guess we win. I guess we win with the... Actually, well, this is kind of... All right, we'll just win the proper way. Target opponent loses 3 life, you gain 3 life. Got him! The one of fun of. Yeah, maybe Sticky Fingers is good. I mean, I didn't prove it there, but... Hey, what's up, Magikarp? Hey, Magikarp, I didn't realize today... I've never known what your... Yeah, I guess we could have fired up the Creature Lad, too. I never knew what your name meant. I realized it's a Pokemon. Magikarp is a Pokemon. I saw something came across my Twitter with someone who was Pokemon hunting, and it was a Magikarp. So I never really understood that, and then it all made sense. Yeah, we get a although Mob Nixilis was not lethal there, right? That went pretty good. Evelyn for the steal. It worked. It worked. What do we want against? I don't even know what our opponent is. Grixis Sticky Fingers? Apparently. Which I didn't know was actually a thing. I mean, I know that Pokemon exist. I was trolling a little bit with the Yu-Gi-Oh thing. just a tiny bit. But I don't know anything. I've never actually done it. Should I hunt Pokemon? That was like, what, a big thing in 2018 or something? It seems like a while ago. Everyone was wandering around trying to catch Pokemon. Is it actually fun? Is a Mega Magikarp an actual thing? Charizard. Charizard. Am I putting an extra "h" in there? Charizard. Is that more correct? Is Pokemon bigger than Magic? Like, is Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, Hearthstone? I don't know. What else? Is there anything else in that vein that's even competing for number 1? Hard like chalk. Charizard. Charizard. Flesh and Blood. I mean, Flesh and Blood has gotten off to a good start, I think, in paper, but I don't think it's... I don't think it is yet. I don't think it is yet on that level of... Oh no. Why do we never sideboard, chat? Why are we always spending our time talking and not sideboarding? I don't think that Flesh and Blood is in the same category as those other games yet. Perhaps it will get there someday. I don't know. I don't know what Flesh and Blood's doing. Most of my Flesh and Blood knowledge comes from randomly, occasionally having Rudy videos pop up on my YouTube. And depending on the day, it either sounds like it's going to be the greatest thing ever, or that the world's coming to an end. There's not much middle ground from the things you hear about Flesh and Blood. It's either like gonna take over the world, or straight up the thing is collapsing. It's the end of times. The apocalypse is upon us. But no in betweens. I mean, for me, I would try Hey, what's up, Jesse? Stone Raid, good to see ya. If Flesh and Blood had a digital client, I probably would have tried it by now, just to see what it's like. Because some people seem to really like it, and Magic players seem to really like it as well. So if it was digital, I would have given it a try. The problem is, I'm like a 99% digital player. Like, I mostly play digital. So if it doesn't have a digital client, it's going to be tough for me to actually play. Huh. What is Foretold? What could be Foretold? Removal? Counters? Huh. Well, I mean, I guess we just do this and go blanky and see what happens. Please resolve. Yeah, it seems like the Flesh and... Okay, it was a counter spell. Seems like the Flesh and Blood Pro Tour did well. What do I think of the new Sarkin? There's a new Sarkin? What Sarkin is this? About it. Passes. Well, So what we want to do is kill this and then corpse appraise it. So I guess we just do it this way. Yeah, kill this. With the Blood Tithe Enforcer. Oh, come on now. Alright. Infernal Grasp it. What is it with all these slip out the backs these days? Kids these days and their slip out the backs. Xander's Lounge. Go. About it. Wait, is there really a new Sarkin? Expressive Iteration. I have heard of Force of Will. I don't really know anything about Force of Will, but I know that it exists. I heard someone say that Meat Massacre is 48% of standard meta and therefore should be banned. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Ooh. I'm gonna have to look up the numbers. My initial thought is there's no way those numbers are correct, but I'm gonna look it up and see what our numbers say in just a minute. If that is true, then yes, I would probably be on board with considering a banning. We have a new donation from the Voice OG, $2 donation. Hey Seth, was just curious if the MTG Goldfish Facebook page was gone forever. While I'm at work, I usually scroll through for all my MTG needs. I very much hope it's not gone forever. Thank you so much for the donation. Still have not gotten whatever issue is going on resolved with... well, kill the Ledger Shredder. Still have not gotten whatever issue is going on resolved with Facebook. We still don't, I still don't know what happened. We don't know what happened. Just one day, like a few days ago, it disappeared. Like, apparently got banned. I have no idea what we could have done to actually deserve a Facebook banning. We're like pretty far away from any lines that would get a Facebook page banned. So Facebook is supposed to be fixing it, but we don't have we don't know. Don't have the details. So fingers crossed that it'll be back up soon. Ledger Shredder is a good card. Oh, about it. So what are the actual numbers on standard? Wow. Okay. I mean, so that was not an exaggeration. Currently 48% of the meta. Wandering Emperor, 45% of the meta. Duress, so Duress is a sideboard card. I usually cut a lot of slack for sideboard cards because a lot of archetypes play them. Like if you have black mana, control, aggro, combo, mid-range, you're gonna have Duress in your sideboard. Meat Massacre is not necessarily like that. Honestly, there's a Kaido. What do you think? Those numbers are... So I hadn't actually seen these numbers. These numbers are worse than I thought. That is not exactly the sign of a healthy metagame. So here's what I would say as far as bannings. We're getting rotation with the next set. If we get to rotation and we're still seeing similar numbers, then I think we could have a conversation about if something needs to be banned. Because we're going to get rotation and theoretically things are going to change, I think it's okay to wait for now and hope that things get better once we get to rotation. But yeah, that is, I mean, I am legit worried about Esper in standard. When you look at Esper in standard, I have a hard time understanding how Esper is not even better than it is, and it's already the best deck in 31% of the meta. When you look at this Esper deck, it blows my mind. It blows my mind. This deck has the best planeswalkers. It has the best aggro creatures. It has just a busted payoff in Ravine. And it also gets the best removal in Void Rends and Meat Massacres. Like, it has the best of everything. And my real concern is, like I said, we're getting to rotation. Rotation is next set. I don't want to, like, this is a time when, I guess you can ban things just to shake it up over the summer or whatever. But normally I'm like, okay, just wait to rotation. But when you look at this deck, not much really changes. Luminarch Aspirant goes, Vanishing Verse goes, but it's got Void Rend as a replacement. The mana base changes, but we'll get a new cycle of dual lands. So I am like legit concerned that Esper will end up being too good. But like I said, we got time. We got time. We're getting a new set. We're getting rotation in September. So I would say just wait. Wait until a little bit after rotation, because I think it's possible that Wizards just like really pushes. I think it's possible that Wizards just really pushes really pushes the fall sets with Dominaria and Brothers War, and maybe Esper won't look that good. Maybe it won't look that good. What do you think's good against Esper Halfwing? I mean, good against Esper and also like competitive enough overall that it's actually like a reasonable deck. That's got to be kind of the baseline. Like, you got to be able to beat Esper, but you also can't just like lose to everything else. Runes is really good, but Runes is dead at rotation. Like, we'll still have some of the enchantment stuff, so maybe there's an Enchantress deck, but the runes themselves are gone. Rune 4 Champion's gone. So I think that that is probably just a non-issue once rotation happens. Not doing a great job hitting lands. Well, go to combat. Kill the Kaido. Opponent's got 3 cards in hand. We're at 14. What do we do about this? There's also a Goldspan. Oh, we need the Goldspan to die. Alright, well, kill the Goldspan, hopefully. Opponent, gonna make a treasure. Busted, busted, busted. Do you have a counter? No. Okay, that's good. Goldspan down. Grixis Invoke is good against Esper. Like Grixis Control. I'm surprised we don't see more, like the Kami War deck, I think had a shot against Esper. More Burn Down the Houses and so forth. I think Burn Down the House and the Rare Saga are two of the best cards against that deck, because you sweep away all the creatures and all the planeswalkers. So maybe we'll see decks that can beat it. Although 35% of the set championship being Esper is not the numbers you want to see. Like, maybe Grixis Vampires is the deck. Maybe that's the deck. 5% of players bringing it. Rune still has a better win rate than Esper, according to Untap, but Esper can easily start running Archons in their sideboard again. I'd be curious to see if that was best of 1 or best of 3. I could see Runes being better in best of 1, but I feel like they're still a good deck in best of 3, but they don't have them. They kind of just do one thing. They're a little bogglesy. So I feel like they can be hated on better than Esper. Esper is just like a good deck on every axis. Removal, threats, like reactive, proactive. Anything you could want out of a standard deck, it just has the tools to be that. Runes is just kind of like Boggles aggro combo. Alright. I think we're going for it. Nixless, Casualty, sack it. Get 2 of them.
I'm not afraid of
Tick it up. Tick it up. Are we gonna get Goldspan again? Opponent goes to 10, doesn't care about the obs.
Is my entertainment.
Opponent. I am tired of Goldspan. What an obnoxious card. Opponent. Will Lightning Bolt ever be your opinion standard? I'm really hoping. GG. All right. That's a whole break horror. So our opponent's... I don't know what our opponent's deck's doing. Is it just weird Grixis control? Well, so I guess we have to Corpse Appraiser. Yeah, we did not come with Hullbreak Horror in mind. We gotta hit a removal spell that can kill Hullbreak Horror, and we don't. Yeah, I mean, I think this is just us dying. Take up Nixless. I mean, I guess our opponent only has 1 card in hand. That's sort of something. Fable the Mirror Breaker. Opponent gets to loot. But they have a Hullbreaker Horror. Yeah, opponent's deck is interesting. Opponent. Elminster looks sweet. I mean, jam all the scry cards and some big spells, and it seems like it can do some really sweet things. It's as far as planeswalkers that can be your commander, I think it's a pretty good. Sweet Jesus. Oh, Lord. I do not think cards exist that beat 2 Hullbreaker Horrors. That's unfortunate. Sure, yeah. Yeah. Opponent. I love blue and hate Hullbreaker Horror. I mean, as far as finishers go, Hullbreaker Horror is a very good one. Good slash essentially unbeatable. Opponent thinking about. I mean, there's no way we can deal 8 here, right? Evelyn does nothing. Maestro's Charm does not. Yeah, we're okay. Let's save our opponent the brain power. We'll do our opponent a favor and just concede. Save them the trouble of trying to figure out how to attack since we're dead anyway. So opponent's actually a straight up control deck, but with a lot of creatures. How do we stop a Hullbreaker Horror? I don't think we do stop a Hullbreaker Horror. I guess we try to hold on to an Infernal Grasp. Oh, that doesn't sound good though. Or we just deal with Evelyn. If we could have got Evelyn down earlier. Well, let's go down to Strangle, I guess. Run it like that. And we scoop it up. What draw could have let us win, Druid Broman guy? Alright, it's a fine hand of Magic cards. Play the Ridge. Go. Opponent. We only have one Maestro's Charm in the deck. Alright, land on black. Bloodthirsty Adversary, smack ya. We're running this out because this opens up the possibility of untap land into Obnixilis. Yeah, unfortunately we only had one of them, or it would have been good. Opponent. Velky got Lies. Alright, untap land. Untap land for double ob. Come on, deck. Come on, deck. You can do it. Would be so good. Strangle. Well, that's not quite it. But we can strangle the Velky, get back our Evelyn. Xander's Lounge. Hit you for 2. Alright, opponent. Plays the land. Malevolent Hermit. Well, go to combat. Attack ya. Opponent takes it. Casualty up next list. Opponent can copy counter 1 if they want. Do you think that Tasha's Hideous Laughter could give Ashiok Tribal and Pioneer some legs? I watched the Against Odds video a couple days ago from a couple years ago, and now all I want to do is cast Oblivion Sower. Oblivion Sower is a sweet card. All right, take it up. Pass the turn. I mean, I think it would be a fun jank combo for sure. It is sweet with Ashiok's ultimate. It's sweet with Oblivion Sower. Illuminated Virtuoso Sticky Fingers. Yeah, I feel like there could be a. I've seen this card only a couple of times. Someone played it against me in Explorer Feather, and this card is ridiculous if you can't kill it. Like, it just becomes a 1-shot or 2-shot kill really quick. Opponent has a Kaido. Well, I guess we're just a Planeswalker deck. The problem is, this is where our opponent can go land Goldspan, and that's so brutal. Well, Sorin. I don't know if our opponent's deck's cool because it has some spicy cards, or not cool because it's just Goldspan Dragon, Hullbreaker Horror. Like, Sticky Fingers is spicy. That's unique. But then the rest of it's kind of just Grixis Crim. Opponent, land. No Goldspan. That's a bit of good news. Gonna get in and hit the Obnixilis. Well, hopefully we can kill our opponent's Planeswalker on the backswing. Opponent's gonna draw a card. Mummarift. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup to you. Thank you. Have you ever built a deck around Master of Predicaments? I don't play Modern, but I want to see it there. I remember what Master of Predicaments looks like. It's got the big beard, right? The Sphinx. Yeah, I don't remember what it does, though. When it deals combat damage to a player, choose a card in your hand. That player guesses whether the card's mana value is greater than 4. If they guess wrong, you may cast a card without paying its mana cost. I don't think so, but that could actually be a fun against odds card. I think I've played it in, like, limited, but I'm pretty sure I've never actually built a constructed deck around it. Opponent. Valky takes a Evelyn. Annoying. I'll take up Sorin. Get a go blank.
Nothing on Innistrad is free.
Go blank our opponent. Get him down to 1 card. Still not a great spot to be, though. They're still drawing with Kaido. They got Ledger Shredder going off, and they're hitting their land drops, and we're not. Bring to Light's on the well, we got rid of a Hullbreaker at least. Bring to Light is on the list of cards that we need added in the near future. Well, ship the turd. Yeah, I can see building a Fun Master Predicament stack. Hey, what's up, Affinity to Squirtle? How are you? Doing well, doing well. Squirtle. Yu-Gi-Oh! Right? Actually, no, what is in Yu-Gi-Oh? I keep saying Yu-Gi-Oh! What's an actual famous Yu-Gi-Oh card? All those are Pokemon. Does anyone in here have a Yu-Gi-Oh name? Or does just no one like Yu-Gi-Oh? Pot of Greed. There was this, okay, did any of you play Yu-Gi-Oh? I saw, for some reason, I now get like randomly things that are, oh, Blue Eyes White Dragon, I've heard of that. I've heard of that one. I've never heard of Red Eyes Black Dragon. Is that also a thing? Those kind of sound like D&D cards. Hey, for an overview of my introduction to MTG. I built your budget vampire deck way back in Shadows over Innistrad Standard. Well, Snilly, that is amazing. Thank you so much. I just heard, did any of you play Yu-Gi-Oh? I just heard there was like some bannings. Like it came across my Twitter trending or whatever that there were a bunch of bannings. Yeah, we're gonna block. Ping down the dork. Opponent's gonna draw a card. We can't kill the Kaido. Opponent hits their land drops. I'll take up Sorin. We hit a land. Play the land. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Oh, and we're going to trigger this Ledger Shredder. Oh, Ledger Shredder. So busted. Well, I mean, can't do anything about it. It's so good. Explorer needs a lot of cards. I think I'm going to do a video of the top 10 cards we need added to Explorer. But, yeah, Urborg. Urborg's probably on there, but Nykthos is definitely very high on there. Opponent does some looting. We got to pass the turn. Opponent taps. The problem we're having is we know our opponent wins the late game. We just got beat by Goldspan Double Hullbreaker. So the fact that this game is going long is really bad. We need to be killing our opponent quicker because I don't think we can reasonably expect to beat our opponent in the late game. The one James! Thank you for the raid. Welcome, Raiders. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, Nykthos is playing. One of the sweet aspects of Pioneer is there's actually relatively competitive devotion decks of every color. Black, blue, white. Oh, jeez. Okay. Meat Hook Massacre. Apparently our opponent's in the 49%. Goes attacking with a 0 power creature. Gonna draw with Kaido, which now lives forever, apparently. Plays a land. We start drawing lands. Discard. I think we got to hit removal. Well, there are all the lands that we didn't want. Take up Sorin. Jeez. Magic gods. Magic gods. Why magic gods? Was that 6 lands in a row this turn? I'm pretty sure that was 6 lands in a row. Dandy Plus! Welcome to the Fish Bowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup over here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's how it ends. Sometimes you got 6 lands in a row on top of your deck. The emote that's waving at you, that's Scoops. Isn't that Scoops? I would say that's Magic. Hey, thank you, Space Satan. Opponent. Gonna go draw some cards. Yeah, I mean, this is not how you win from this position by hitting every land, and our opponent is rewarded with a counter spell, and this one, I think we're gonna scoop here. Salt Breeze! Welcome to the Fish Bowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank ya. Opponent, gonna go attacking and go attacking. Well, at this point, I think we're at the just cycle to see how many lands we can hit in a row for complaint value before we scoop. Voldaren Epicure. Technically not a land Magic the Gathering card. All right. Yeah, there's 0 chance. Well, that was the worst turn we've had in a while. I have to go to Slurp. Great to see Seth having one before I sleep. Oh, sleep. Rake, care, and keep having fun. Oh, Necronexus, thank you. Thank you. Enjoy your slurp. Thanks for hanging out. Okay. We got crimmed. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna go with not spicy for our opponent's deck. Game 1, for a brief second, it looked like it might be spicy, but then it was just Grixis crim. Esper A, Ledger Shredder, Psionic Snoop. Flash Connive. I mean, that's an interesting looking deck. I do wonder if something like this could work. You get, I mean, Esper, even in Modern, you get good interaction. Yeah, so you got the counter spell, you got the Thought Seizes. Those are really good cards. Not sure about like Psionic Snoop. That's a card that I haven't even seen this one in Standard. So not sure about that one. Quasar. So Quasar, there are some combos with Quasar. I think if I was gonna play Quasar, I would probably want a combo. I think that it's going to be very difficult for Quasar to get there fairly in a format like Modern. Games just don't go long enough, even with like the Connive cards, to maybe draw 2 cards a turn. Maybe if things go really well, you get like Rafine, you draw 3 cards in a turn. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for that one to add up. So I think maybe looking at like Lich's Mastery combos or something. So maybe Peer into the Abyss, maybe something like that. So I think Quasar needs more support than just having like some incidental draws. Just because Modern is such a fast format. Like if you play Modern, it's pretty common for games to end like turn 3-ish. Sometimes games end turn 2-ish. And in long games, like, I mean, I guess there's exceptions where you play against Control or something, but games going to like turn 5, that's a slog in Modern. That might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but really, like, all that to say, games go really fast, so you really need a plan to make the Quasar damage end up super quickly. In Modern in specific. I think in Standard you could maybe play a game plan where you like, well, here's the monster of the format. It has come. Well, Castle Dracula. Let's discard this Xander, which I don't think we're ever going to get to. Bloodthirsty Adversary. All right, play Bloodthirsty Adversary. And go attacking. I guess we're the aggro. All right, can we get to the Evelids? If I post a deck, would I need to post it from Goldfish? No, as long as it's I mean, obviously would love if you use Goldfish, but any Magic site is fine. Well, one more land and we get to Evelyn. That would be sweet. Well, play the land, go to combat, attack ya. Well, okay. One more land, Evelyn, steal our opponent's good stuff. That is the hope. I think the 2-drop Connive white creature is actually pretty good. Red-black Death Shadow in Modern. Ooh. Opponent, getting in, getting in. Sure, sure, sure. Oh, dear. Oh, we really need to draw land here. I don't know if we have the tools to beat Double Wedding Announcement. Blood Tithe Harvester, eh? Well, I guess we'll run that out, and I guess we'll sack this and discard an Infernal Grass, see if we can hit our land drops. No. Well, pass the turd. Oh, so far, vampires have been disappointing, I will say. Red, I mean, only a game in, but red-black Death Shadow, eh? Scourge of the Skyclaves. I mean, that looks sweet. I like it. Yeah, I mean, that looks like a fun take on Death Shadow. I haven't seen Scourge of the Skyclaves, one of those cards that at first people played a lot and then it kind of fell off. But I think this deck could maybe do. You got the gut shots, you have the lightning bolts, you have cold against commands. You got a lot of ways to attack your opponent's life total, which I think is going to be important. The Thud's definitely spicy. That's a cool idea. Kazul's Fury could be an option too. Get that attached to a land essentially. Well, block and block. I guess our opponent just wants to draw a bunch of cards. Oh, they're gonna Wandering Emperor. All right. Opponent. Ooh, let me see, Dyphod. Opponent pumps, kills our stuff, draws 2 cards. We hit a land, but it's feeling a bit on the late side. Well, hit the Wandering Emperor, I guess. I mean, I guess we're trying to flash in an Evelyn and block something. I guess that's the hope. Why did you scoop in game 3? Because there was 0 chance gonna win from. Oh, we drew 6 lands in a row that turn. The turn where we got to loot with Fable the Mirror Breaker, we drew 6 lands. Our hand was 4 lands, and there was just no realistic way of us winning from there. Well, Evelyn. Comes down. Opponent. Wow, a Void Rend. Typically a one of, but our opponent had the right one. Nixless, eh? This deck's so busted. Corpse Appraiser. Get rid of the Tenacious Underdog. Hit our land drop. Spend a removal spell on a free 1/1 token that's now a 4/4. Play the land. Hit the Wandering Emperor. Opponent. So how are we feeling about Commander Legends 2? I actually, personally, I'm not very hyped about backgrounds. I think backgrounds are, wow. This is a good testament to how good this Esper deck is. Our opponent hasn't even really done much. They played 3 wedding announcements now, and we're just getting hard smacked. Like not even sort of a little bit close here. Whew. Well, might be heading back to Explorer pretty soon. Actually, maybe we try the Kwame War. Not great on this. What do you think of the background mechanic? The background mechanic to me feels like a really fun limited mechanic. I think for me, it exemplifies the pressures on products like this. Like, Wizards is trying to make a product for Commander players, but they are also, for some reason, trying to make a draft set. And I think you feel a lot of that tension. In those designs. I think that background's going to be really fun in limited. I think it'll be a really strong limited mechanic. But I think in constructed or like actual Commander, I think it's going to be pretty meh. I don't think players are going to, I'm sure people will try some decks with them, but I don't actually think they're going to be very popular. I think it's a thing that people will try a couple times and be like, okay, like whatever, it wasn't that exciting. Weird gimmick, but on to the next thing, on to the next set. And then in the 99, they seem just actively bad. Like almost every every one just has like a strictly better version if you want to play in the 99, because they require your commander to be on the battlefield. So there's a like 3-mana white one that gives your commanders double strike, but then there's Duelist Heritage, which just gives any creature for the same mana cost double strike each turn. So it's hard to see the value of playing him in the 99. So I feel like, I don't know, for me the background mechanic is kind of meh. Like that's kind of the meh aspect of the set. I like a lot of the commanders, and I'm also waiting for next week when we get to see the non-commander cards, because that's where we can see the big reprints. That's where you can see cards that can potentially go in every deck. We can actually see some really exciting stuff. This week is their like, we're gonna spoil all the Legends week, which I guess kind of makes sense if Wizards is thinking, so we're gonna play this, we're gonna kill that. All right, down on the bugbear. If Wizards is thinking, well, we need to have the commanders out first, so people know what they're looking for with the rest of the cards. But I also think that pacing just ends up being a little awkward sometimes, because I think you're also left thinking like, okay, what else? Like, what else is there in this set? Like, all I see is all these weird backgrounds. I've seen 20 backgrounds. I've seen 20 uncommon background commanders. Where's the stuff I actually want to add to my deck? Like, where's that stuff? Show me some of that stuff. And we just haven't got there yet. But I think that's what next week's going to be about. Yeah, the VODs usually go up like a day later on the replay YouTube. Are you familiar with Oathbreaker? Yes. I played... So, last time I went to GP Vegas, before all the pandemic stuff, that was when Oathbreaker was like kind of having a moment to some extent, where people were really hyped about it. I guess we just discard a land. Actually, let's discard the Strangle. We need at least one land because we got to be able to pay to... Yeah, we got to kill this. We got to kill this Rafine, unfortunately. Yes, kill Rafine, pay the 1. Hit you with a dork, make a token. All right, put her down to 18. So yeah, do you like Oathbreaker, Dolphgrim? My experience with Oathbringer is it was a fun idea, but it's just super broken. Like I think that's one of the things that happens often when people create commander that's not quite commander, is a lot of times the end result ends up being a format that's just super broken. Yeah, my Oathbreaker deck to Fury Time Reveler with Silence. Like, that's kind of an example of what I mean. Or it's like, oh, it's Narset in a wheel. Like, who wants to play Narset Windfall? Like, who wants both of those to be in your command zone every game? Like, that's just not a fun format. The same thing happened with like Tiny Leaders. Tiny Leaders was really hyped, and then the card pool was so small that it was just all Geist of St. Traft, and that became like the only thing people did. That was the tier 0 deck, and then everyone lost interest with it. I wonder if there's a way to like ban, because it could be fun. The idea is fun. I think the problem, maybe what happens is these casual formats, someone has this really sweet idea. They're hanging out with their playgroup. They have this really sweet idea, and they're like, wow, wouldn't it be cool if we could play Commander, but we had, Planeswalkers, and they got to have a spell. That sounds like a really fun idea. And I bet it was like the most fun ever with their playgroup. Like if the Commander Clash playgroup played that, I think we could make it real fun, because if Krim was playing Teferi Silence every time, we'd, slap him around a bit, and eventually you get the message that he shouldn't be doing that, or else, no one else is enjoying it. But then when a whole bunch of people start playing those formats, I think it naturally goes on this like spikier trend, and then you end up with people optimizing, and you end up with everyone trying to play the best deck rather than trying to play whatever's fun in their playgroup, and then the format starts to like fall apart a little bit. Have I ever played Type 4? What is Type 4? I don't think so. I don't even know what Type 4 is. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. All right, so we can play this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Bloodthirsty Adversary. Auto pay. Auto pay. Strangle duress. Duress you. Strangle a token. Get rid of the meatball massacre, thank goodness. That would have been a problem. Okay, we're fighting through. Opponent's the one with all the lands. About it. Cubing is something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to have my own cube. I've started to make my own cube several times, but I've never finished. I always get distracted and then end up pulling it apart. But that's something that I do find interesting. Well, nothing else going on, so none of the bugbear. Kill your token. Go attacking. Make a treasure, make a goblin. We have a new donation from... Oh, thank you for the cheer, by the way. The small Crimson Fox. Opponent gonna block the land. Drop to 9. Wedding announcement. Not as good when there's no creatures on the battlefield. Opponent, not that far away from death. They need a big draw. Plays a land. Passing. Go blank, not gonna complain about that. Go to combat, attack you. New donation from Alex Mateo, $5.29. This whole Master of Predicaments talk got my brewing juices flowing. What do you think of this draft? Dude, let me see, Alex. Orzhov Interceptor. Okay. Well, kill that. Oh, wait, this costs 2 less, so we can cast it for 1? Please work properly. Oh, Arena's super confusing with this. So is this correct? If I do pay 0, it's going to give me 2 damage? Please? Please, Arena? Be smart. But shouldn't I pay 0 because it costs 2 less to cast? So shouldn't paying 0 give me 2 damage? Is that not what Torch Breath actually says? Is that how much do you want to pay? And we would pay 0 and we would deal 2 damage. It didn't ask what you want X to be. It asked how much do you want to pay? That's not what it said. It didn't say what do you want to pay for X's. Arena. Well, that's disappointing. Well, there's a non-zero chance that we lose because of that. Well, wipe the graveyard. Opponent's got a big lifelinker. Pass the turn. About it. It's funny because it should work the way that we did it. I would say that's how it works on. That's how it works. That's how it works on Magic Online. Hey, hello, Reese. Good to see you, Mr. Orange. I'm not convinced that we're gonna be fine. I mean, opponent has a big lifelinker and a deck full of bobs. Well, get in with the adversary. Hit ya. Discard a land. Oh, these are. Oh, yeah. All right, those are treasures, not blood. All right, pass the turn. About it untaps. Oh, I think it's likely that we could lose now. I mean, it's not a guarantee, but if our opponent draws any of their good cards, definitely could happen. All right, discard a land. See if we can draw a non-land. Opponent's back down to 7, although they should 100% be dead. All right, land and land. Play Castle Dracula. If they have Wandering Emperor, that's the biggest blowout. Opponent goes to 5. Opponent adapts. About it. Goes to combat. Gets in. Did they draw Wandering Emperor? Nah, yeah. All right. Opponent's back to 9. Tenacious underdog. Well, okay. I think Seth is wrong. You also could have hovered and seen X2 with what the auto tapper would do. I hope we draw the spell again because I think that it is wrong, but we won't know until we might have to go play Sparky until we draw it because I really do think that it is incorrect. Well, Omnixless, Casualty, Sack. Yeah, Underdog only deals damage though if it is blitzed, and currently it is not. All right, tick down, tick up. Opponent discards a land, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. I'm just so worried because they have like, they just have such good cards they can draw about it. Yeah, we got a bunch of obs. We do have a bunch of obs, that's for sure. Opponent has a removal spell. Going to kill an ob. Unfortunately, the token ob. Ooh, or not. All right, gonna kill the token ob. Come on, deck. Come on, deck. Give us something good.
How dare you destroy my item?
Opponent passes. Well, tick up ob.
My coin.
Opponent discards. Blood Tithe Harvester. Is it even worth obbing here? It's probably better to keep the Blood Tithe Harvester for now. All right, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Blitzes a Tenacious Underdog to start drawing some cards. Hits the ob, hits the ob. Wow, this card our opponent draws is going to just barely keep him alive. So they kill the ob. They get to draw from the Tenacious Underdog. We're going to hit our opponent to 2. Hopefully. Yeah, opponent draws. We untap. It's a duress. Oh, that could be good. Well, go to combat. Attack ya. Opponent goes to 4. Can we duress away a card that's actually in our opponent's hand to get the win? Yes. Oh! We have overcome. We have overcome the arena. Okay. Well, Ob does get there. Any prediction for the SNC Championship? Well, based on the numbers, I would say... we got to draw this card again. It's only a 1 of. I really want to see what it says. I really want to see what it says. So what is the vote in chat? Is the vote in chat that I'm an idiot? Is that the overall feeling? Or is the vote in chat that arena was worded wrongly? Maybe we get on a Fable that, well, Fable's pretty good. What do we go down? What do we go down? Maestro's Charm can kill stuff. It's worded poorly, but you still punted. Wait, how does that work? How can it be worded wrong and be my fault? Oh, is it like I should have? It's arena, so I should have known that it was wrong. One of those like, oh, it's Wizards Digital. Of course, I should have known it was not worded in the way that would make the most sense. This hand we have Evelyn, which is sweet. I do like that. Could use some. I could see kind of like fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. All right, I'll accept that. I'll accept that. Blood Tithe Harvester, go. Opponent. Land and really good at drawing wedding announcements. We should have had lethal like a million turns ago. We were having a little debate over how Arena is worded with this certain spell with a cost reduction effect. Oh, hopefully it comes up. Technology. Oh no, this is the same draw that got us in game 1. Double wedding announcements. Pretty good. Pretty good. Let's discard one adversary, I guess. Ooh, inscription. Okay, duress you. Take in vanishing verse. Go to combat, attack you, make a treasure. Okay. Okay. Opponent blocks. Okay. Kill him. Land on red. Inscription. Make you discard. Opponent's gonna be down to 1 card in hand. Just one. What do they keep? Probably the Legion Angel. Legion Angel seems, yeah. Legion Angel ends up being more cards. But this clears the way for Evelyn. It's Evelyn time. Can Evelyn beat the best deck in Standard? There's a Legion Angel. Gonna find more Legion Angels. Can Evelyn do it? That is the question. We're about to find out. Opponent. Legion Angel. And passes. Flips the wedding announcement. Makes a token. Those are big things. Oh, we could flip the Saga. Play the land on black. Oh, actually, I think we gotta wait. I think what we have to do is blood. Yeah, we gotta kick Bloodthirsty Adversary and get rid of our opponent's hand. Yeah, this is way better. Inscription, discard. 20 clicks later, get rid of the Legion Angels. Okay. Pass the turn. Now it's Evelyn time. Can Evelyn make us win? What can we steal? We have stripped our opponent's hand. Opponent just draws a land. They go to combat. They're going to do a big attack. Well, we get to kill a dork. Are we going to untap with Kiki? For Blood Tithe Harvester? Are we going to take down Esper? Is it actually happening? Opponent draws a card. They get to flip. Okay. Well, we get to Reflection of the Kiki Jiki. Copy Blood Tithe Harvester. Make a blood. I guess kill the token? Yeah, we can't kill the big thing, so kill the token. Go to combat. Attack you. Opponent goes to 11. Land on black. Pass the turn. Opponent. What do we find? Opponent gets it, hits us. Yes, we'll take 6. Here comes Evelyn. Evelyn's coming down. We're at 7, but we're not dead. The Toady back. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you. I'm worried about Meatball Massacre. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super chat for you, Evelyn. Steal us something good, Evelyn. What do we find? Ooh, Interceptor. Interceptor's great. That's very good. Perhaps game-endingly good. Opponent, do you have removal? You need removal, or we got you. I think we got him. Wandering Emperor. Okay. Can kill the Kiki Jiki, I guess. So opponent's going to try to win with the Legion Angel? Okay, sure. Hive of the Eye Tyrant. I'll play Bloodthirsty Adversary. No kicker. Steal, nothing of relevance. Hive of the Eye Tyrant. Go to combat. Kill you. Hit you. No creature, lads. Okay. Opponent. Down to 5. Untap. Interceptor at the ready if our opponent has something. Raffine. Well, I mean, I think that counts as something. Discard. Connive. Opponent. Oh. Oh no. Oh no. It all comes down to a coin flip. Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you serious? Is it a land or a non-land? Land we win, non-land they win. It's a land. It's a land! The magic gods come through. Oh. Wow. Wow. That was a close game. Taking down Ezra. Okay, we gotta see the spell in action. We gotta see the spell. Wait, what was the misplay that we went unpunished for? Whew, that was so close. All right, we gotta do this. I don't know why yeah, I was worried for a minute that something weird was happening. Just arena stuff. Okay. Yeah, it comes down to, I think our opponent was slightly favored. Their deck probably has 27 lands, but then they drew maybe slightly more lands and spells. So I don't know. It was probably slightly in their favor, but close to 50-50. All right, we have to, before we play the next game, we gotta investigate this really quick. All right, Torch Breath, throw them in the main deck. Apparently, don't even have all of them. How do I not have all Torch Press? All right, Sparky. Show us who's right, Sparky. Show us who's right. Come here, Sparks. All right. Play bot. All right. So our only goal is to cast this spell. Oh no, but we gotta be against, well, we can cast it on our own blue creature, I guess. So we need to cast it on a blue creature, because that's where it came in. All right, we don't have it or a blue creature. Okay, we have a blue creature. That's fine. Adversary to the bottom. We're not gonna actually play out this game. We just wanna see that one spell. That's it. We are just testing this against the Sparkster. Scoundrel. Oh my god, we're gonna die to Sparky here if we don't draw red mana. It's always risky to play a game against Sparky on stream, because when it goes wrong and you lose, that is about the most embarrassing thing that can happen. Okay, we hit red mana, so we should be good. Diabolist. Go attacking. Make a devil. Kill the Scoundrel. All right, so now we just got to find the spell, and then we can cast it, and then we will know who is right about it. I mean, this is about as, I think this is the only way you can do a solo match. Hey, what's up, Nuke? Hello, welcome. Opponent going to raise dead. Good play, Sparky. Scoundrel returns. Well, play this. Fable the Mirror Breaker. Coral, welcome to the fishbowl. Now we gotta start looting, because all we're trying to do is find the the one spell that matters. Get him a Diabolist. Make a dork. Have you ever lost to Sparky, chat? Have you ever lost to Sparky? Wow, they really like killing the devil that kills their 2-drop. That's on you, Sparky. Don't awe us. You're the one that cast the removal spell. We got the full, I added the full 4 copies. Raise is dead. They love that Scoundrel. About it. Aww. Okay, that's not it. Well, we're gonna loot away these Obnixiluses. We're not trying to do that. Well, our opponent's probably gonna block. They always block and let this devil kill their stuff. Make a devil. Opponent. I mean, it probably depends on the cards you're playing too. Your odds of beating Sparky. All right, so kill that. Can we find the spell? Corpse Appraiser. Get rid of the scoundrel so it can't be raised dead. So we need torch, whatever. Torch something. Blood Tithe Harvester, go. After seeing your tweet this morning, I was wondering if you had any thoughts on why no card games really have great viewership on Twitch. Well, I mean, I think Torch Breath, thank you. Nixilis. So I think that it's partly that card games are just not that entertaining. So I've talked about this a little bit before. I do not know League of Legends like at all. I don't really care about League of Legends, not my thing. But League of Legends, there's been a couple times where oh, there it is. Okay, Torch Breath. So this is, we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that in just a minute. So we got Torch Breath. The question is, if we cast this targeting a blue creature. Okay, so this is saying pay. So this is saying pay what? So it costs 2 less if you're targeting a blue creature. So shouldn't you pay 0 and you will deal 2 damage to something? So you think you got to pay 2. X is equal 2. Well, the auto tapper theory doesn't work because the auto tapper is not showing us something different based on what creature we're going over. So if we want to deal... All right. I mean, I will say it does say pay, and then underneath it does say X. So I will admit that much. Although I will say I think that is just ridiculously horribly worded. On Magic Online, it actually works the way it should work in Magic. I know I'm a Magic Online boomer or whatever, but it actually works. It works in the intuitive way that makes sense to people playing Magic. That's my opinion. Maybe part of why I dislike how they do it is because I'm used to playing on Magic Online, and it seems like it actually makes sense. It's like, oh, like you're getting a 2 mana cost reduction. How much mana are you gonna pay for this? So it actually explains it in a reasonable and comprehensible way. We'll keep this.
Now let's play.
Haunted Ridge, go. Abodent. Oh no, this is well, another win for Sparky. This is Sparky again. Moto works the same way. It doesn't though. It doesn't. Moto actually has a in-depth explanation of how it works. All right, let's get back to real Magic. There we go. Sparky's killing it today, 2-0. It's not asking you what you're paying, but then why does it say pay in big letters? Like, that's the thing. That's why I say it's programmed in a pretty confusing way. Because the biggest thing you see there is pay. So pay would be how much mana you're paying. So I think that's why I'm of the opinion that it is not designed in an especially intuitive way. Because that's what the big letters say is pay. That's what we were talking about before when we actually almost lost because of it. That's what conversation we're having. It says pay. Is it saying pay the amount of X or pay the amount of mana? The Jimothy, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super chat for you. Thank you. Thank ya. If you go to full control, the auto tapper works. Interesting. Really? Is that true? I mean, I don't think anyone is normally going to full control. Master of Predicaments. So Master of Predicaments, make your opponent guess. So here's what I would say the challenge with Master of Predicaments is. Let's say you're playing against Master of Predicaments. So I guess Crashing Footfalls, I like that. I was going to say, it seems like the safest thing to do is just always guess low. Because then you're never going to get got by an Emrakul or Grizzlebrand. Like, the worst case can't happen. But I really like the idea of Crashing Footfalls. Like, that's a way to potentially actually punish your opponent for what seems like the best way to play against it, which is just always choosing the low option. I like that. And then maybe there's an opponent who's like, oh no, Crashing Footfalls, they got me with that. I better guess higher, and then there's a chance to get him with Emrakul. It's definitely a cool card. I feel like it could be a fun against odds card. It could be a fun against odds card for Modern. Also seems like a card that would be fun to play in Commander more often. It's one of those cards I just kind of forgot existed, but it seems like it would be a really fun Commander card. I built your budget zombie deck in paper, took it F and then went 3-2, got 7th, and got a Skyclave Evaporation promo. Congratulations, that one dude, Jake. That is awesome. Skyclave's a good promo too. Oh, I'm glad to know the deck is working. Those are always some of my favorite stories, when someone actually plays a budget deck and has success with it.
Punishment is my entertainment.
Thoughts on the Twitch? Where are we at with the Twitch thing? Oh, card games on Twitch. So why don't card games have that much success on Twitch compared to other games? So the story I was know that we're trying to get the Facebook page fixed. We're not exactly sure what happened, but for some reason the Facebook page randomly got banned, and we are in the process of trying to appeal it and get it back up because we don't actually even have any idea why it happened. So hopefully it will be up shortly. We've been dealing with it for a few days now, so fingers crossed it'll actually be up, because we have no idea what could happen. So here's the story I was telling. Why don't card games do as well on Twitch as other games? So the story I was telling is, I don't know anything about League of Legends. Nothing. Don't care about League of Legends. Never played League of Legends. And there's been a couple of times where someone that I follow on like Twitter is, I'm watching this big League of Legends tournament, and I clicked on it a couple times, and I really actually kind of enjoyed it. Even as someone who does not know the game whatsoever, I could fire up a League of Legends tournament, and I could watch it, and I could actually kind of appreciate it. There's a lot of stuff going on the screen. People are running around and, shooting things and zapping things. The way it's announced, you kind of can understand, like, oh, they're trying to get over here and kill these things, and that's how they win the game or whatever. So I feel like card games suffer from the fact that it is not easy if you're not a player of those games. It's not easy to grasp what's going on, and it's like, even on Arena, the best version of Magic for streaming, look at our stream. Like, half of the time, it's me thinking or talking to y'all. Nothing's really going on. And even when something does go on, it's kind of like, oh, a little animation pops up. It's not like, oh, there's all these people running all over, shooting things. So I feel like it's going to be really, really hard for card games to ever be in the upper echelon of streaming, just because they're so bad for like casual fans or non-fans. Like, if you just stumble across Magic on Twitch, like even this last minute of our stream, it's us talking, me playing a land, and now we're thinking, okay, they got an Ezekiel's Chariot. What do we do here? Should we be flashing back something with Bloodthirsty Adversary? Those are all the things that are going on, and I don't think that's super entertaining for someone who doesn't know the game. If you know the game, it's great, because you can play along and you're thinking, okay, what's the right line? What would I do in this situation? Why did this person make a decision that I wouldn't make? But if you don't know the game, none of that stuff actually applies. Well, kill a cat. I feel like we need to be able to deal with this Ezekiel's Chariot art. Our main game plan here might actually be trying to ultimate this Obnixilis, which I don't know if it's going to work. Hey, what's up, Dempsey? How are you? I don't know. What do y'all think? Is there any way that card games could ever be super popular on streaming sites, on Twitch or whatever? Yeah, and that's true. Like, I think part of the reason that, I mean, the biggest reason that our stream, I think, does pretty well is because y'all are awesome. Like, y'all get all the credit for that. But really, I think part of the popularity of Magic streams is not always the gameplay itself, but just like hanging out, being able to talk about the game, being able to talk about new cards, being able to talk about our days, have a community. I think that's often the most appealing part of Magic streams. I mean, I did just get a little dog pool for Bear. Maybe I'm gonna have to do a doggy pool hot tub stream. Opponent gets in with the chariot. Well, I mean, block and block. Oh, I don't think we can survive this though. Opponent's just got a big board. We need some action. We're all in on this Obnixilis and we're gonna end up like a turn short, I think. Nothing good to ping. Oh, Evelyn is spicy. That is spicy. Oh, opponent's at 10. Does this mean we just give up on the Obdream? They also get to copy this Workshop Warchief, which is absurd. Oh, and it gets set. Oh my god, that's so incredibly bad for us. Oh, that. Why are people kiki-jiking Workshop Warchiefs? How do you beat a Thragtusk every turn? You don't. I started Magic just this January. It's hard to figure out all that's going on because you have to read the cards. It's also hard to follow if you don't read the full cards of the game first. Yeah, that's another barrier. Also, I know we've been a little harsh on Arena today, and Arena tries hard. So don't take this in the wrong way. But I gotta say, the fact that you can't even read the cards in your hand on Arena is one of the most mind-blowingly bad choices I have ever seen in a game I've ever played. Like, if the whole idea is that Arena should be streamable so people can watch it, why? Why would you have the most important zone of the game, the card in the hand, the thing that lets the audience actually play along because they can see those cards and make their own decisions? Why would you have them cut off so no one can see them? Does anyone have any ideas on that? I've always wondered why that decision had been made. Is there any? So what's the upside? The upside is, I guess, you save a little room on screen. There's more room for the big icons, I guess. But like, I don't know. Couldn't you like put your icon and life total over in the corner or something? Like, get that space out of there and then move the cards up so you could actually read them or something? Like, there's gotta be, I don't know. That's always just driven me crazy because I feel like Arena could have been more successful than it was. Like, obviously it's a card game. Card game's never gonna be Fortnite or something. Just something that my, little 5-year-old nephew can turn on and just enjoy because it's a lot of action and things running around. Card games are never gonna be that, Magic or otherwise. But, I mean, I don't know. You can probably make it a little more accessible if people could actually see the cards in hand. I mean, thankfully there's like third-party apps that help, like the bots and so forth, the Cardboard Live and such. Like, that helps, but still, I've never understood that decision. Hey, so a serious question. Ugh. All right, things getting worse. Yeah, we're so dead. All we really had was these Obnixilises, and now we don't have them, and now this is... Now our opponent's making free 4/4s every turn and gaining life. This Workshop Warchief has been absurd. Magic Arena has so much potential, I feel like most people don't even know about it. Wow. And now our opponent has 2 Obnixilises off the Workshop Warchief. Yeah, this one's... this one's over and a half. Yeah, I think that could be true as well. Like, could be marketed better, because Magic is the best game. I know I'm biased. I'm definitely biased. But in my opinion, Magic really is just as good as it gets as far as games. Just the gameplay itself is so good. It's got art for people who care about Vorthos. It's got lore. It's got a huge history. It's has had competitive play. It's got casual play. It's got everything you want. So I wish it was supported more or like whatever. Like it could be so awesome. I still think there's a ceiling on how popular a card game can be as far as streaming in specific, but still, it could be so much more. I've been watching a relatively similar strategy game as a spectator for a couple of years now in my spare time, but it's the same kind of issues. Now I have a good grasp on it, but the first month or two, most of the interesting stuff wasn't obvious and had to be learned. I mean, yeah, that is kind of the challenge. And Magic is like so in depth. That a lot of the coolest things are stuff that you might not understand for the first months or years that you're playing. Like, if you watch someone who's really good at Magic, like watch a Reed Duke or someone play Magic, there's things that I wouldn't have gotten for the first many years of playing. And then after you get it, it's like, wow, that was like that thing they did where 2 turns ago they did this, and that was setting up this like 2 turns later that led to them winning a game that they otherwise almost certainly weren't going to win. Like those are some of the most interesting aspects of Magic, and those are just impossible. Like no one is going to be able to grasp that when they first start playing the game. It's not a thing. It's not possible. It's just literally not possible that you can. So I think there's a big barrier to entry, I would say. Oh, let me see, dog. Ooh, some Abzan action. Tenacious Underdog, very good. Surulf, that's spicy. Lisa, I've lost to Lisa a few times. Lisa with 6 on the battlefield, so good. Get the good Planeswalkers. Elspeth, I do love me some Elspeth. That looks really good. It reminds me of Esper with the green replacing the blue. You get a lot of the similar good white and black cards. That looks really solid. That looks fun. I like it. How is Surulf been? Surulf's a card I haven't really played much. I kind of want to do a video. On that where you take someone who's new to Magic and show them cards like that and just see. I think it'd be interesting. There's been a couple of videos. I saw one. There was a video with Paulo someone did evaluating Hearthstone cards, which it's always kind of fun to see what people think when they don't really know the game. Well, Blood Tithe Harvester. Yeah, it looks sweet, dog. I like it. Oh, by the way, a reminder that our sponsor tonight is Card Kingdom, and if you need some magical cards, you can get them over at cardkingdom.com. Well, Blood Tithe Harvester, yeah. Fable Mirror Breaker. The nice thing about Magic is, when you're first learning, is you can play it super wrong and it's still fun. Actually, it might be even more fun when you play it super wrong. Come to think of it, some of the best times I ever had playing Magic are when I had no idea what was going on and I was just learning the game and obviously very bad at it, but just like had such a good time playing 8-player casual games with friends where everyone's just sitting around and doing whatever and, getting the rules wrong. Like, yeah, but Magic it's such a fun game that even when you're playing it that way, it's still really fun. Speaking of barrier entry, I recently realized there's no printable rules for Magic, no visual representation of phases. I hadn't really thought of that. I mean, the actual rule book is, I don't even know. I think it's over 100 pages long or something. It's like super, 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 super huge. So I can see why that is not a thing that you can easily print out. But it does seem like it'd be super helpful for people to like be able to visualize phases and the steps you go through. So you could probably do more with that too. Okay, realize my fatal flaw with the plan for this deck doesn't win the turn you combo off, so Summon Respect doesn't work. But check out this absolute beast of a Burnt Offering deck. Ooh, we gotta play some Legacy Burnt Offering at some point. Now that everyone's on the Burnt Offering plan. I like the Plunge into Darkness edition. Okay, so make a bunch of mana. make a bunch of mana, try to get Allosaurus. Wait, so we have Allosaurus Rider to Burnt Offering into Grizzlebrand? Is that the... So play Dorks. Oh, we should do a thing here before we time out. Blood Tithe Harvester Part 3. Please don't Meat Hook Massacre us. That would be sad. Strangle the Goblin. Go attacking. Hit ya. About it. Down to 4 past the turn. That's a neat idea. Plunge into Darkness. I feel like I'm missing... Oh, Metamorphosis. Hack a creature... Oh, so that's essentially like another Burnt Offering. This is a wild deck rooker, that's for sure. Dries, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup for you. Thank you. Ya. About it. Well, if our opponent has a Meat Hook Massacre, we're pretty out of it. If not, they're super dead. That's the math. Do you have the meatball? All right. Yeah. Such a blowout. So, I mean, it's possible we should have... Boy, it's tough. I don't know. With opponent having Workshop War Chief, like, we really need to keep playing things if we're going to... We really need to keep playing things if we're going to have lethal through that, but then that just sets you up to get blown out by Meat Hook Massacre, which is not ideal. About it. Why don't you play Real Modern instead of fake Arena Pioneer? I mean, I play Real Modern too. Honestly, I've kind of the last few weeks I've kind of been mad Modern. I feel like not really much has changed. And it's kind of just, oh god. And it's kind of just the same. It's the same Modern Horizons 2 stuff. And the more time that goes by, the more that starts to annoy me, if that makes any amount of sense. So I still love Modern, and it's still my all-time overall favorite format, but I don't know, I haven't been feeling it that much lately. Yeah. I don't know how we get out of this. Like, we sweep our opponent's hand, but we just lose our stuff, and they got Lolth. I think we just... All right. We won't go. I don't want to get yelled at for early scooping, but... So, yeah, Modern is just... yeah. I mean, I guess that's all you got to do is wait for the next Modern Horizon set to come out and break things. Yeah, the big problem is we don't really have anything to dig for that's going to win from here. Like, through the Lolth or whatever. Like, what would our best draw be? Like, Evelyn, maybe, to try to draw into more things to catch back up with the Planeswalkers? So I feel like this deck... I feel like the issue we have is that we're a mid-range deck. And the best mid-range decks in Standard, well, that is an Evelyn. And the best mid-range decks in Standard have just like a ton of these crazy Planeswalkers that generate a ridiculous amount of value, and we don't, at least to that extent. So we get to these late game situations, and it's really hard to keep up when your opponent's playing Lolths and you're not playing Lolths. All right, opponent's gonna go blank us. Well, we'll run out the Evelyn. Did you take a peek at my barely Aristocrats deck? Oh, I didn't, Doug. Do you have a... Can you send me a link? All right. Stuff exiled. So I don't know, have y'all been playing Modern? Where are y'all at with Modern? Do you think that Modern Horizon sets have been a net negative? I still like Modern Horizons overall. I really, really do. I feel like that... Oh, Oh, we needed that to live. I feel like the top end of those sets has been a net negative. I feel like Ragavans and Wrens and some of those cards have been... they're just so hard to get beaten out. So I think that's kind of the issue, is once you print a Ragavan, how are you ever going to top that? Like, how... it's not like you can print something better than Ragavan in a standard set. So you're just kind of like... you're going to just see that a lot forever for the rest of time until another Modern Horizons set comes along and makes something even better. So I think that's kind of the problem of it, is the top end's just so good. I like Modern Horizons overall, though. Like, I like that Modern Horizons supports underplayed archetypes. Like, we get decks like Enchantress. We get support for Merfolk that basically wasn't even a deck anymore. So I like 90% of what Modern Horizons sets do, and I still want them to make Modern Horizons. I just want them to stop printing Ragavans and stop printing, like, you know, the the Evoke Elementals at Mythic and making the format so expensive. Like, those are, it's like 10 cards a set. If you could change the top 10 cards in set and like tone them down a little bit, I think that Modern Horizons would be like super perfect. I don't know if that'll ever happen, because printing the Murktides and the Ragavans and the Urza Sagas are like what lets Wizards sell product. So I think that probably from Wizards' perspective, that's what they want to have happen, which is a little bit brutal, but I don't know. So I don't know. And it's also, I'm sure we'll play a lot more Modern over the summer, but it's also, we just got a new standard set, and we also just got Explorer, which I've been having a lot of fun playing Explorer. I think Explorer's, I mean, I love Pioneer, and I've had a ton of fun playing Pioneer, and Explorer actually in some ways is like, even better than Pioneer in a weird way, because the matchups that I enjoy playing least in Pioneer are like Lotus Field combo, and Lotus Field just isn't a thing in Explorer right now. So in some ways it's kind of even better, which is kind of awkward. Hypothetically, the Direct to Modern Universes Beyond set won't have a MH1, MH2 issue because collectors will be buying the product because of the license. Yeah, that is also going to be very interesting. Very curious to see how printing a Lord of the Rings set into Modern is going to go. That is wild. That is a wild idea, but... Opponent, land, and Fatal Push. Isn't non-combo decks getting high-powered cards in Modern good for gameplay of Modern? So, I mean, yes and no, I would say. Non-combo decks getting good cards is definitely good, but non-combo decks or any decks just getting... historically, you know, the most powerful cards ever printed in the entire history of the game, I think that's less good. That's where you start to have the problem. So powerful cards good, but just like, oh, look at this, the best one drop that has ever been printed in the history of the game or whatever, like that's where we run into issues. It just goes too far. So, like, Ragavan could still be a really good card if it did, like, 75% of what it does rather than 100%. The Evoke Elementals would be just as good if they were printed at rare, and way better for the community at large if they were printed at rare. Wow, if we ever draw something that lets us turn on these fight riggings, we are going to be in business. We need any 7-power creature, even a 6-power creature, or 5-power creature, and we are going to rig some fights. I think we still sit back with this. We might sack the food to kill this Knight of the Ebon Legion if our opponent pumps. Oh, yeah, taking away the dash, like, yeah, so that's, I don't know. So that's kind of where I'm at. But like I said, the main reason that we haven't played much Modern lately is just because we got a new standard set and the Explorer format, so there will be more Modern coming in the future. That's kind of the usual progression when there's a set released. Well, maybe we can do this the old-fashioned way. Can we make a Gilded Goose up to 7? I did not expect it would be possible for Gilded Goose to be the card to turn on our fight riggings, but we're 1 turn away. Oh, come on now. Honk, honk, opponent. Well, I mean, there's like a time when, maybe it still is, but when, if you looked at the most played creatures in Modern, like 9 were from Modern Horizons. 9 of the top 10 were from Modern Horizons. So that's just like a little too much. A little, like, we want them to be good. We want them to see play, but that's, yeah, those were the saddest dogs. Oh, boon, and Fatal Push. Well, we'll kill the Dreadwander. We have a bunch of things that instantly turn on fight rigging, and if we turn on fight rigging, we win. Graveyard Trespasser. We need a Rotting Regisaur. We need a Shakedown Heavy. Valky, God of Lies. Well, I mean, I guess we run it out. We're not very close to Tibalt. Take a peek. Get rid of the Spawn of Mayhem. Take up Obnixilis. Counters on the Valky. Okay, Valky, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. We're doing this in the clunkiest way. We have a bunch of creatures that do it right away. The idea of this deck is not to grow a Valky into... Oh, come on. Rankle off the top for our opponent. Goes attacking, goes attacking. Well, I mean, we're running out of time. Either we draw something or we are just going to die to this. I mean, I guess we kill the Graveyard Trespasser. Opponent gets back this Spawn of Mayhem. Oh, gonna be close. Gonna be super close. Each player discards a card. Sure, we're never going to cast that anyway. Opponent discards a Spawn of Mayhem. Sack the food to gain some life. Great hand is not looking great at the moment. Well, make a Devil.
My revenge.
Actually, it might have been silly to make a Devil, because our opponent can get back this Dreadwander and sack it to kill it. Thought seizes the Great Hedge. Oh, come on, deck. Come on, deck. Murderous Rider. Well, our opponent could just kill it with the Rankle anyway. Well, okay. Llanowar Elves. Counter on the Devil, counter on the Devil. No attacks. Come on, hold. Hold. About it, Hive of the Eye Tyrant. Attacks with everything. Okay. Kill the Murderous Rider. We need to keep our thing alive. We go to 1. Oh, we did it. We did it with a Devil. We did it with a Devil. We did it with a Devil token. This is Explorer. I'll update the deck list. It's almost Pioneer. It's very close to Pioneer. Opponent lets us draw a card. Makes us sacrifice. We'll sacrifice Llanowar Elves. Sure. Opponent passes. Oh, we need to stack our triggers properly or we're going to lose. Because we only get 1 of these. Wow, this was so close. Auto order trigger abilities off. Okay, so we need to make sure we get the Titan of Industry. Go to combat. So we need that one to resolve first. Okay. So fight rigging the Devil. Fight rigging the Devil. Titan of Industry. Gain 5. Shield counter. Oh, we gained 5. Shield counter on Titan of Industry. I can't believe that worked. And opponent scoops it up. Opponent scoops it up. Wow. We got a Devil big enough to turn on. So this deck, we didn't really do a deck tech of it. What are you eating, Bearby? Nothing important. We didn't really do a deck. This is fight rigging for Explorer. By the skin of our teeth, indeed. Yeah, that was a wild game. So the idea of this deck is basically we're built around fight rigging. We can ramp into it. We have Regisaur and Shakedown Heavy that can turn it on. And then we're hoping to flip into Titan of Industries. We're hoping to flip into Vorinclexes. We can flip into Great Henges. And since we have these Regisaurs and Shakedown Heavies, we also have Obnixilis, which we can instantly ultimate, always with Regisaur, often with Shakedown Heavy if we can get a counter on it. Gets us enough counters that we can immediately refill our hand or maybe just kill our opponent. And that's essentially the whole goal of the deck. Yeah, this deck was super fun. I don't know, have y'all been playing Explorer? I've been enjoying Explorer lately. I think Explorer's been a lot more fun than I thought, I will say. Is the red really worth it? I mean, the idea of instantly ultimating Obnixilis is pretty sweet. Worth it? I guess we'll find out, but... Oh yeah, we can also cast the backside of Tibalt. If we exile it with Fight Rigging, we can cast the backside. So is it worth it? I guess we'll see. I honestly am not 100% sure. A Golgari build would be more focused. And we could try a straight Golgari build. Let's run it like that. What's your blink deck again, Magikarp? Barely Aristocrats. Wilson's such just a fun card. I think it's not a Eula as far as power level, I don't think, for a bear commander, but it's living its best life. It's got all the abilities. It seems like it's just enjoying its bear life. Pairing it with Cultists of the Absolute's a good idea. Definitely sweet for a budget deck, especially. So you get the sack outlet. I like that Cultists of the Absolute is so cheap. Like, that's definitely a nice upside. That looks solid, Doug. I like it. Have you done a video on it yet? We played Golgari Hideaway in Standard. We're playing Explorer at the moment, though. Well, let's Blooming Marsh and Gilded Goose. Hey Goldfish, what are the odds you ever do a legacy stream on the Spanish Inquisition deck? So, haven't really streamed legacy very much. So, I would say the odds of a stream in specific are not super high. The odds of us playing Spanish Inquisition, I think that's a lot higher. I think there's a decent chance that we could do something like that as a YouTube video, but I don't know, maybe we should do more legacy streams. Just traditionally, in general, I found that people at the stream tend to mostly prefer Arena, and then YouTube tends to mostly prefer older formats. So I try to often head that direction, although we still play Moto on stream and we still play Arena on YouTube, but in general I try to like default that direction. Opponent's got the wrangle. It's in, hits us for 8 billion. I mean, I guess we might as well block, or else our opponent's just gonna sack and do this anyway. Okay, we need a good fight rigging here. Fight rigging. Also need to not get thought seized. Well, Valky's not the worst. That's one of our combos. Castle Logwain. Okay, is Valky gonna be enough? About it. Land. Attacks. Alright, Rotting Regisaur. Opponent. What do they choose? We each draw a card. Scrappy Scrounger opponent passes. Oh, Gilded Goose. Rotting Regisaur. Go to combat. Counter on the Goose. Is there a last card a removal spell? Oh! Oh no. Oh no, oh no. Oh, that is the death of us. Wow, what a great last card. Yeah, okay, that's a good one. Oh, that was so close. You tutor up a bunch of cards and rituals and sacrifice a creature until you finally Goblin Charbelcher someone. Yeah, it's kind of like a really weird build of Belcher, basically, right? Yes, I am going to Command Fest Richmond. Are you going, Slam Jam Sam? Yeah, if anyone is going, make sure to come say hello. Well, we got the fight rigging. Also got infinite lands, which is kind of a bummer. We do not need that many lands. Well, Bluing Marsh, go. Opponent Dreadwander. Well, Regisaur's good. That combos with the fight rigging if our opponent taps out. Return to Arena after a couple years. What are the two new formats and what happened to Historic? So, I mean, Historic still exists. It is still a format that you can play. Those are not very good cards. It is still a format that you can play on Arena, although it's kind of been displaced, I think, a little bit by other formats. Opponent gets in, hits us. The big additions is they added Explorer. Now, Rotting Regisaur. Opponent, I assume, kills it. Then the Bugbear. This isn't looking great. If this fight rigging whiffed anyway. Power word kill. Aye. So they added a format called Alchemy, which was their way to make Hearthstone cards, essentially, like make cards that don't exist in Paper Magic and put them on. Yeah, we really needed like a Titan of Industry. Wow, even more lands. We needed a way to. All right, so they added a format called Alchemy, which was their way to essentially sell more cards by making digital only cards that don't exist in paper. And people got really upset about that. Mostly not because Alchemy existed so much, even though a lot of people felt like that was pretty money grabby. But because they made all those changes also affect Historic, and that turned a lot of people off to Historic. And then just in the last like couple of weeks, they added a format called Explorer, which is like Historic, but without all those cards. And that will eventually be like Pioneer and Paper. So I think that's the the short version. Do you play some decks people email you? Yeah, I play decks people email me on occasion. It really depends on the deck. If it's a deck that is appealing and catches my eye, then yeah, we play quite a few of those decks. I think that Alchemy format's main purpose is to make people really angry. I mean, I honestly think that Wizards just totally missed it with Alchemy. Like, I think that Wizards, everything about Alchemy makes me think that Wizards thought it was going to be really popular. Like, they're doing Alchemy Horizons. That's the name of the Commander Legends like set that they're about to add. It's called Alchemy Horizons. So I think they clearly were expecting this format to be like a home run and for people to love it. And they were gonna like, it was gonna be awesome. And that was gonna be the plan this summer. Everyone's gonna play it and it's gonna be this huge hit. But they just butchered it. They butchered it. Oh, I think when we look back on Arena in 10 years or 15 years, when it's all done, you know, we got a new, even flashier client. I think that's going to be the tagline. I don't know. I'm assuming they missed their land drop. We don't even really know what they're doing. They scoop so quickly, but I think that's going to be the headline. That's going to be the headline of the retrospective, is essentially like, missed opportunities. How'd you mess this up? But I feel like in some ways Alchemy is emblematic of a lot of the stuff we were talking about with like streaming with Arena and all this stuff. It's just like, because I think Alchemy could be. I think this is an unpopular opinion, but I still think that Alchemy could have been and should have been a popular format. I think it should have been. I think we should be playing Alchemy, you know, today or over the summer and being hyped about it. But because of the way they released it, they somehow managed to make everyone hate it. Yeah, I mean that is really true. It was a super cool idea, but it's a mascot for the issues. Like it brought up the economy stuff again. It was even more expensive. It messed with historic for no reason, which was a lot of people's favorite formats, and then all of a sudden their historic cards were changing for no reason, and it just really like snowballed in such a negative direction. But yeah, so missed opportunity, I think, because it should have been way more popular and way sweeter and more well received than it was. Well, counter on the Velky, hit you with the Velky. I mean, Brawl ended up being successful eventually. It took him a while to get it going and actually add it, but yeah, I do think about that sometimes, that if they had, instead of programming Alchemy Horizons, that it seems like no one really wants, like if instead of that they were working on Pioneer, we'd probably have full Pioneer by now. I mean, that's why Alchemy is so emblematic of Arena's issues. Like, they add this cool thing, but they add it in just such an expensive way. Like, almost everything is rare mythic, and it just, and people are already having issues with the economy. So then it's like, here, like, to play this format, you need to spend another, I don't even know, like some huge number of rare and mythic wildcards every set. Yeah, Alchemy right there. So Commander Legends 2, the set we've been talking about and doing spoilers for and everything, it's sort of coming to Arena under the name Alchemy Horizons. They're doing an Alchemy version of it, essentially, where it's partly going to be Commander Legends stuff and partly going to be Alchemy stuff and cards that they made up for Arena or designed specifically for Arena. So yeah, and it's called Alchemy Horizons, Commander Legends Alchemy Horizons, something like that. But yeah, Alchemy Horizons. Well, grow the goose, Hong Kong, hit you with the Valky. So we know our opponent has a Wrath, so we're trying to play around that with this Regisar rather than just running it. All right, opponent's got a Wandering Emperor. Trying to play around the Wrath as much as we can, but at this point we might just have to run it out. Run it out, kill some stuff. Oh, I am excited. That's the thing, like, I am excited about like gates from Alchemy Horizons, assuming they actually make it into the set, which I think they would. So there are things that are cool, and there are really cool aspects of historic. Like we've played a ton of historic, and there's some really cool things about it. And then they did things that they couldn't do in any other format, being able to, you know, put jumpstart cards in there and all this stuff that just didn't really work in other formats. So there definitely are upsides to these formats. Ooh, all right, change of plans. So opponent's got Time Wipe. I think this is gonna be good. 1, 2, 3. We Regisar. We Great Henge. Like we're playing Standard from 2 years ago. We go to Combat. We put a counter on the Gilded Goose. We get a free Titan of Industry. We shield counter. Destroy artifact and enchantment. Blow up. I don't even know. Fable the Mirror Breaker? Let's go Wedding Announcement. Get rid of the Wedding Announcement. Shield counter on the Titan of Industry. Oh, and this works too. Sack the food for black. Go blank you. Get rid of the Wrath. Oh no. Please? Okay. Whew. Okay, that was close. No attacks. Go blank you. Get rid of the Wrath. And we might actually be in good shape now. We might be in good shape. The Wrath is gone. Our opponent's got a Wandering Emperor, but not much more. Yeah, I forgot. We were doing that all in combat because of the fight rigging. Opponent loses away the card. And opponent scoops it up. Well, they scoop up. Oh, I forgot. They scooped that first game really quick. Bant Blink. I mean, Blink is a super fun archetype. I think most of these cards are on Arena. Are all of them on Arena? They might be. Where's the Panharmonicon? Where's the Panharmonicon though? That's always a big question. Why WotC doesn't just give away a bunch of wild cards on Arena? I mean, it's just a video game. We don't want a single card on it. It's not like paper, so I can't help thinking that we have to spend a lot of money to play a game where we don't even know what the cards Wizard's Master of Taxes. Yeah, I mean, it's a source of profit for Wizards. So from their perspective, from our perspective, yes. I mean, it doesn't really cost very much to make a digital Magic card. Not really much at all. It's very close to free. I mean, they got to pay programmers and stuff, but in the grand scheme of how many people play the game, like any individual card you open it's got to be tiny fractions of a penny. On the other hand, for Wizards, it's very profitable for them. It's kind of actually mind blowing when we hear numbers. They always talk about they have to do every quarter every quarter they have to do their financial updates as far as to their shareholders and whatnot. And the most mind-blowing part of it to me is their profit margin is 40%. And 40% is huge. That's like off the charts huge. So even in paper, like part of that's digital, but the biggest part of that's still paper. Even in paper, the cost of making a Magic card is way lower than the cost of an actual Magic card. I've also so this is like behind the scene rumors because this stuff isn't out yet, but I've had a couple of people who are somehow attached to local game stores or know people that own local game stores and whatnot. Had a couple of people message me about the price increases because we knew there was going to be like an 11% price increase or whatever, but I don't know. So we'll see what the numbers are once this is actually out everywhere and we see everyone selling it. But some of the numbers I've heard are actually like a little bit scary, like maybe bundles going up 55%, collector booster boxes going up like 20-30%. So it's going to be interesting to see where prices actually land. I'm a little worried that maybe once we actually see prices be listed for these things, it's going to be even higher than we actually thought. Birth of Melitus. Opponent transmogrifying by the looks. I mean, the one person that messaged me today said that collector boosters wholesale went from 165 to 226. So that would mean collector booster boxes, if LGSs are getting them wholesale for 225-ish, they got to mark them up to make a profit. I assume that means we're going to be looking at like $300 collector boxes or something, like a pretty big increase. And then apparently bundles, or I guess fat packs they used to be called, went from like 25 to 40 wholesale. So bundles or fat packs are probably going to be, I don't know, 60 or something now. So it'll be interesting to see what that ends up being in the end. Well, let's play a Stomping Grounds, play a Shakedown Heavy, go to combat, counter on the Shakedown Heavy, play another fight rigging, hideaway. Okay, Tybalt's actually good. Hit ya down to 18. About it. So we'll see. Like I said, this is people that are like, hey, these are the numbers I'm getting, or my friend owned a local game store and these are the numbers they're getting. So we'll have to wait and see what it actually is when it's all said and done. All right, opponent stealing the Shakedown Heavy is not optimal. Not great, I will admit. Well, put some counters on things. Make the biggest elf ever. Pass the turn. Opponent. Goes to combat. Gets in. Sure, we'll take the 7. I mean, our opponent's not an aggro deck. The damage doesn't seem like it should add up that much. So hopefully it's not that bad, but definitely interesting. I play at my house, so I don't think I should be taxed for other people. If LGS want to make profit off people playing there, they should charge people to play there. Huh. Does anyone's LGS actually charge them to play there? I don't know. I don't know how that would go over. Wandering Emperor.
Now you've done it.
Snipes our elf.
You are not much of a roadblock.
All right, well, at least we get... Okay, so we get Rotting Regisar. This is actually pretty good. This is going to be really good. We get Rotting Regisar. We play the land on black. We go to combat. We put a counter on Llanowar and Regisar. Oh, please. Okay. How do we get to the backside? Okay, click Tybalt. Free Tybalt's not the worst. And then we pass the turn and we get rid of Shakedown Heavy. And we still have the Riveteer's Charm. Oh, we might be stabilizing through the Transmogrify even. About it. Sure, ticks up.
I have got new moves to teach you.
I mean, they got to get rid of this Tybalt, or this Tybalt's going to wreck them. Fires them Invention. We have a new donation from... Ooh, Dane Wildfire. Here's my $50 budget EDH list with best fear of the command zone. I call it barely aristocrat. So just a Fable the Mirror Breaker. All right, we'll take that. Oh, thank you so much for the donation, Doug. Yeah, you must have missed it. We looked at it a few minutes ago. I really like the idea of it. I think Cultists of the Absolute with Wilson. Wilson's just, I don't think it's a Eula good as a commander, but it's such a cool bear. Like, it's the best grizzly bear ever, I guess, outside of a Eula. But I like that you can go into multicolors. The Cultists of the Absolute seems like the perfect background for an aristocrat style deck. The price is pretty good. Like, for being a $50 deck, this looks actually really solid. Like a really solid deck. So yeah, I like it a lot, Doug. Have you done a video or anything on it yet? Or are you going to? About it. Passing. Yeah, let's get rid of the Agent of Treachery. So we can kill the Wandering Emperor. Wilson's just such a... Oh, no, you're good, Doug. You're good. Yeah, Wilson's a really cool card. Where can people find your videos, Doug? I'm not going to complain about Great Henge. Well, tick up. Great Henge. Shakedown Heavy. Draw a card. Oh, we can't cast it though. Okay, play the land. Counter on Llanowar. Counter on Llanowar. Attack. Attack. Get rid of Wandering Emperor. Looking good. Looking good. Oh, Oh, it would have been nice to get on the Vorinclex. Vorinclex is so. Do you remember when Vorinclex first came out? And we played it, and it was so cool in standard, and then it never really saw play. But the first deck we played with it, like the day after Kaladesh came out, was so good. Do you think? Yeah, it might be worth upkeep drawing actually. Although we still can't play Vorinclex. Oh, we can, I guess, with Great Henge. Yeah, that's probably worth it. Works with the counter synergies, Shark Typhoon, and Blink Time. We're playing Explorer right now. It's basically almost Pioneer. It's Arena Pioneer. Hopefully it'll be real Pioneer soon. Now, 1, 2, 3, cast a Lockwayne, protect our Vorinclex. Discard the land. Okay. To actually, Oh, we gotta play the. All right, play the land. Play the Vorinclex. Draw a card. Take up Tybalt.
Oh, so many painful memories.
Grow this Vorinclex. Smash ya. It's working. It's working. Draw another land. I mean, that's a lethal amount of damage. Opponent's gotta block something. Well, I guess I can go to 2 and take it, but I'm brewing a Temur Phyrexian Prison deck. I'll let you know when it's ready. Ooh. So what do we have left? We got Vorinclex. We need Sheoldred, right? We need Sheoldred in Elishnorn. So are we thinking that, what are we thinking for the storyline? I'm assuming we got to be getting those two, probably in Dominaria and Brothers War. And then, like, the sets next year are going to be the full-on Phyrexian... Wait, Sheoldred's dead? Like, dead? Or, like, Elspeth's dead? You never know. You never know with Magic characters. Sometimes they're dead and then they suddenly show up in the next set. See, Sheoldred's body was never found. That's suspicious. Gideon's at, they're probably gonna bring Gideon back, right? Gideon's dead, quote unquote. I mean, I don't know. Gideon died in War of the Spark, right? So it seems like everyone knows about it. Yeah, Venser is the one that actually, my favorite Planeswalker, Venser. That's the one that it actually counts. When Venser dies, he dies for real. But anyone else, they die. Ain't no thing. They're just back. We need them. Actually, they kind of had to do something, right? Because Gideon's dead. Like, they were running light on white Planeswalkers, honestly. Oh, thank you, K-Chai. I appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words. They were kind of running low on white Planeswalkers. If Gideon's dead and Elspeth was dead, who's a white Planeswalker going to be? Basri? Basri never really caught on as far as being, like, an iconic character. Ajani? Ajani's got a lot of multicolor versions. So maybe they just had to bring back... Maybe they just kind of had to bring back Elspeth because, I mean, you got to have a white Planeswalker. Teo's sweet. Oh, you know what card I like? We should see if there's any new spoilers. We haven't really looked. There probably are. There is a new spoiler. I really like the new Butts commander. Rashad. 3 mana, 0/3, choose a background commander. Legendary creature, human monk. Oh my god, we got a sideboard. All right, hang on. I'm getting ahead of myself. We need to actually sideboard a smidge. Just a little sideboarding. Maybe like one Shakedown Heavy and one Great Henge. Let's try it like that. But it seems like a really sweet butts commander. 3 mana 0/3. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. And when it attacks, if you have the initiative, double the toughness of each creature you control until end of turn. So you got the initiative dungeon thing that you gotta deal with. But if you can actually keep that, that's a pretty powerful toughness matters commander. I actually think that's that might be one of my favorite of the choose a background commanders. We also got Sharpshooter Elf. 3 mana, star 2, reach. Wait, is this a reprint? Its power is equal to the number of creatures you control. When it enters the battlefield, its deal damage equal to its power to target creature with flying and opponent controls. Oh. Limited. I don't know. I don't even think you'd play that in an elf commander deck. I think only getting creatures with flying is just too limited. Yeah, so you can't really do the wall thing, or you're going to need additional pieces to do the wall thing. We go back in time with the help of completed Teferi and Elishorn, helps the Phyrexians win during the Brothers' War. So, another flavor question. Once you're completed, do you think you're done? Like, once the Phyrexians have you, are you essentially completed forever? Like, do you think we'll see a non-completed Tamiyo? Or now is Tamiyo just always going to be completed? Is that just who Tamiyo is now? Because that would be interesting. If that is the case, I'm going to be rooting really hard for Teferi to get completed. I would not mind not seeing a Teferi Planeswalker for a couple of sets. Oh, jeez. Teferi is one of those characters. I used to love Teferi. Teferi is one of my favorites. Like, locking people with OG Teferi and... and 1, 2, 3, 4. Putting it as a land. And like knowledge pool or whatever. So sweet. But more recent Teferis have just been so busted. So if we kill this, we get 3 mana, 4 mana. Passing feels so bad. Like, we want to be running things out, but if we run things out, we risk just getting transmogrified. This Beseju actually protects us at the moment. Yeah, play the land. We just gotta pass. Opponent makes the artifact wall that does die to Beseju. So if our opponent goes for Transmogrify, we get to blow up the wall and then start trying to play Magic. Unfortunately, this is a food. If this was a treasure, we could play Valky. We need... Well, I guess you're right. Because of the discount, we could have played Valky. Although, I don't know if I really want to play Valky as a creature. Against a control deck, we know they don't have creatures other than this Yarion. So I think we either got to wait until... We either got to wait until they play the... Get the Yarion in hand, or until we can cast it as a Planeswalker. Opponent, land, cracks it. The bad news is, if our opponent just plays like a Teferi, as we're doing this, we're probably still just dead. Alright, gets the Yarion. Alright, well, Valky. Take a peek. Snag the Yarion. Well, in that case, I guess we hope they don't draw it. Rotting Regisaur. Go. Opponent. So what Planeswalker do you think is most likely to get completed? We already have seen Tamiyo. I wonder, do you think we'll see real Phyrexian mana? Or do you think we'll just see like another completed Planeswalker or two? Real Phyrexian mana would be interesting. A green source here would be nice. Discard a Titan of Industry. Well, 1, 2, 3. Go blank you. Opponent counters. Alright, well, great henge. Hit you with the Regisar. Well, game on. The bad news is I think our opponent can steal the Great Henge. They can steal the Great Henge with their Agent of Treachery, hardcast. Oh, complete. I like Koth a lot too, because of Mono Red Prison in Modern. I've always loved Koth. Well, there's the Agent. What are they going for? Ooh, gonna go for the Regisar. Was not really expecting that. All right, well, gain some life. Opponent gets in, makes a treasure. All right, down to 20. Well, the good news is we get to Titan of Industry. Draw a card. Rhino. Blow up an artifact and enchantment, which will be Portable Hole, to draw another card. Comboing up. Sort of. Play the tap land. Pass the turn. Next turn, we can maybe fight rigging. Now our opponent's got to start discarding. Now you're the one that's got to deal with this drawback opponent. The Regisar's coming for you. I mean, I think we're going to see good card. Although maybe Karn being completed would be the most flavorful thing. Opponent has a Narset. Obnoxious. Takes it down. Gets a big Teferi. Plays Teferi. Okay. The obnoxiousness continues. Tucks Titan of Industry. And out of cards. How do we beat this pile of planeswalkers? Especially since our opponent can start copying Agent of Treachery. Oh my god, another land. And fight rigging doesn't even get us there. Reflections of Kiki-Jiki Agent of Treachery is a problem. Well, we don't have a creature big enough to fight rigging. That's a current issue. Yeah, it was probably too greedy to draw cards. Probably would have been better to kill the reflection of Kiki-Jiki. I mean, I guess I was also not expecting our opponent to go double planeswalker turn, but yeah. Huh. So we get to turn into Yariad. We get to play the fight rigging. Take the Titan of Industry. Play the Den of the Bugbear. Counter on the Gilded Goose. Kill the Planeswalkers. Oh, we killed them both. Yeah, but Kiki Agent of Treachery is a pretty brutal hard lock here. Like, our opponent's gonna just keep Zika's Chariot. Also, wow, opponent's got just a lot of strong cards, don't they? It's like a control deck that's splashing for the busted cards. I mean, we do know that whoever draws the most cards wins, right? Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess we should have went after the Kiki. How likely do you think it is we get a Ancient Tomb reprint in Commander Legends 2 or Double Masters? I would say that it is very unlikely that we get one in Commander Legends 2, but relatively likely that we get one in Double Masters. Although I will say, gonna be important to keep in mind that prices go back up. Like, it wasn't that long ago. Like, first Double Masters. Actually, no. Was it Double Masters? Ultimate Masters. Ultimate Masters had Ancient Doom. So it got reprinted not like ridiculously not ridiculously long ago. And it definitely helped bring the price down for a bit. So you get the reprint and it comes down, but then it just shoots right back up. The Mana Crypt is probably the biggest example of that. So I think that because the gimmick of Double Masters, where can we find Double Masters? What was in? Oh, no comma. If you look at a card that's in Double Masters, Liliana was not in Double Masters? Wait, what was Blightsteel? I'm just trying to get to the set list of Double Masters. So if you look at Double Masters, one of the gimmicks of the set is because it's a Double Master set, they actually had way more rares and mythics, especially mythics to the set. So there's like, I don't even know, a huge list. Double the number of mythics. So there's a huge number in the set. And that does two things. For one, it means it's actually more likely that, or less likely that you're going to open any individual card. Because your mythic slot could be any one of the mythics in the set. And when there's 20 in a normal set compared to, I'm not even sure what this number is, 60 or something, 50 in Double Masters, your odds of opening the specific one you want is lower. That also means that prices don't go down as much or don't stay down as much because the overall supply is going to be less. Sure, there's a ton of mythics from the set going out there, but it's split up between a whole bunch of cards, so prices go down a little bit lower. So I will say, I think it's likely that we're going to get a reprint of Ancient Tomb and Double Masters too, but at the same time, I think it's also likely that the price is going to go back up pretty quickly. So if we do get the reprint and the price drops and it's a card you need, try to snap it up this summer, because if you wait, I think there's a good chance you're going to end up missing it, unfortunately. All right, Llanowar Elves. Gilded Cues. One land, all the mana dorks. Sketchy. Sketchy. Opponent. Land, please. We also need a lot of Commander stuff. I hope. So far, we have seen very few good reprints in Commander Legends. And I'm hoping that's just, oh dear. Kind of regretting keeping this hand now. I'm hoping that that's a product of the fact that they're spoiling all the legends first. However, we can't say for sure. So I'm hopeful that we still get some good reprints. There's a lot of Commander cards that need reprints. Oh, God. There's a lot of Commander cards that need reprints. And if we have to trust that they all come from Double Masters, it's not going to go well. We need more good reprint spots. Hey, what's up, Dumb? Good to see ya. Opponent Goblin. Yeah, we're super done. They have the Transmogrify, so they get Ancient or get Agent. Let's try one more. So what card do you want reprinted most? You personally. I know you can look at the prices of the cards. I I want to have the option of Thought Seizing, but maybe that was incorrect to want to leave up the Thought Seize, or want to be able to Thought Seize. So if you just look at prices, yeah, Mana Crypt's definitely up there. Great Henge is still expensive. Yeah, fetches we need reprinted like Soul Ring almost, or Arcane Signet. We're just like, every year we're getting a reprint of these cards. They're so popular. We need to have that happen, essentially. Like, put them in Double Masters, put them in Commander Legends, whatever. Put them in something. But we just need that constant supply, because so many formats and so many players need them. Ooh, Gifted Aetherborn is a common. Is that some Pauper tech? Would Gifted Aetherborn be too good as a common in Pauper? Mutavault. Mutavault's another card that we need for Explorer, honestly. Put them in Standard. Yeah, I mean, that is the best way to get the price down. Wizards is hesitant, although I really don't buy their their fears. I mean, I guess they're afraid of it because of shuffling, but still. Hey, what's up, Swing for Zero? Good to see ya. But still, so much standard takes place in digital. Is it really a deal breaker now? I could see 5 years ago when most standard was taking place. Yeah, we only need one land. Where most standard is taking place. Hey, what's up, Otter? Good to see ya. Where most standard is taking place in paper, it does add time. Like, shuffling is clunky. But at the same time, like, now that everyone's just playing an arena, does it even matter? Does anyone care? Well, all right, play the land. This hand's looking kind of good now against mono red. We can play a big blocker. We can fight rigging. I mean, a Regisar is just so big against mono red. Oh yeah, the reserve list going away would be the best. Teferi's Protect. What do you think about Teferi's Protection in Commander? It's a card I've gone back and forth on. Opponent. Yeah, and then with the Robber of the Ridge. It's a card I mean, it's obviously very powerful. I don't know if I think it's a especially healthy card or not. I'll play the land on black. Actually on green. Rotting Regisar. Your go opponent. White has improved so much. I actually think there's an argument that white is... It's not green. Green is busted. But I think that it's definitely the second best mono color in Commander behind green. And I don't think it's that far behind green anymore. Chandra. Alright. Well, let's see if we can rig this fight. Opponent. Come on, fight rigging. Show us something good. Huh. Wait, how does this go wrong? Human Shaman. Strangle. Is that a card people play and explore? I was thinking like Wizard's Lightning isn't a thing. Yeah, all right. I mean, fight rigging is enough upside that I think we want to spin the fight rigging next turn. And we also get out of strangle range. Yeah, I guess skewer, but I guess they could ping and skewer as well. It has to be a 1 mana, but if we, oh yeah, the pinging would turn it on, you're right. So because they ping us, it would give them 1 mana skewer, even if we blocked. Skewer is probably the most likely. And especially in a deck like Burn, wouldn't expect main deck Strangle over something that could go face, but they could have Strangle too. Maybe a copy or something. Down to 12. All right. All right. And our opponent's going to get a Riveteer's Charm, which is a little scary. Well, discard. I guess Vorinclex. Play fight rigging. Conrad. Okay. Ooh. Oh, we could also take Great Henge. That gains life. I mean, Tybalt's kind of insane, though, right? We probably... Oh, but Tybalt's... So Tybalt dies to the Jund Charm. But then that saves our Regisar. Obviously, Great Henge is great if we get to keep going with it. But do we live long enough for it to be good? If our opponent attacks Jund Charms, that's a lot of damage. Yeah, we could just take Tybalt and tick it down. You're right. Not the best value, but all right. Getting rid of the Jund Charm is nice. That's probably the smartest play. Attack the Chandra. Opponent blocks. Sure. Well, snipe the Robber of the Rich. Just to keep our opponent from Jund Charming us past the turn. Yeah, Great Henge, little risky just because we don't really... So if we get the Great Henge that turn, we can't cast anything. If we could have followed up by casting Fatal Push, easy choice. I think we take Great Henge. Without being able to cast it, it's a little frightening because... Okay, they did Obscure.
My job here is done.
Yeah. And light up the stage. Ooh, double land. Okay. We'll discard Titan of Industry. Robber of the Rich or Shakedown heavy? I don't really want to shock ourselves. You know what? Maybe we do. We can go to 9. Okay. Go to combat. New plan. Play the tap land. Go to combat. We're going to do nothing. Counter on Regisar. Kill the Chandra. Leave up our removal. We're just going to do... This way we get Riveteer's Charm, worst case. Hey, Seth, your channel and YouTube. Love your channel and YouTube. Can anyone use your overlay? It's awesome. MTG Gold Plus, please. I'm new here. Yes, nothing. The overlay. Oh boy, I'm glad we left up Riveteer's Charm. I am glad we left that up. That's one of the only cards we could possibly have that's going to deal with this. Hazaret. Wow, that's fortunate. Yes, I think we will choose sack mode. So yeah, it is wow, that worked out. That was a kind of a weird line, but it worked out. It is indestructible, but not anymore. Oh, Riveteer's Charm, so good. Yeah, if you need any help with it, let me know. Send me an email, saffronalv@mtggoldfish.com, and I'll help you with it. But yes, it is publicly available for everyone, the overlay. Well, discard the Fatal Push. I think we're on the Shakedown plan. Ooh, honk. Gilded Goose. Shakedown heavy. Opponent's gonna play with fire. That's fine. We'll just play big things. Put a counter on the Regisar. Tenya. I wonder if Shakedown heavy could be, or Fight Down could be a real card in Modern. We are getting to the point where we're gonna do some Modern decks in the not super distant future. I still really want to try the Riveteer's Charm deck. Or no, Riveteer's Ascendancy deck. I've had an idea for Riveteer's Ascendancy ever since it was previewed. Opponent goes attacking. Well, we'll send a little message. Cast your own Robber of the Bridge. Put a counter on it. Hit ya and kill ya. We've actually had unsacrificable before. Sigarda? Sigarda is a messed up. We always talk about power creep. And how creatures keep getting better. But Sigarda is actually still, even, what are we, 10 years after Avacyn Restored almost? Yeah, I think it is exactly 10 years after Avacyn Restored. 5 mana, 5/5, flying, hexproof, spells and abilities your opponents control can't cause you to sacrifice permanents. Oh, that is still like a legit thing. I'm surprised it doesn't see play anywhere. I guess like it's not legal in Pioneer, right? Like it's too old for Pioneer and Explorer. In Modern, 5 mana is just, that's like infinite almost. Like 5 mana is just such a big number. So I think that's probably the reason why. But Sigarda is still like, it's such a good card. Tajir Preserver does it. Yeah, there was a time when Boggles would play it as a one of. I mean, it's good protection from Emrakul. It you can't get annihilated. So I think that was a thing that mattered at one point. Yeah, Murktide has changed the stats on modern playable creatures, I guess. I don't know. It's so big. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I really don't. Just like Murktide, it's like a flying Death Shadow almost. even easier to turn on. How I haven't checked the modern matchup. MH2, 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 Magus of the Moon, respect. MH2, 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 Eldraine, MH2. Huh? Wait, why are we? That cannot be right. What modern deck is playing Emrakul the Promised End? If it was Emrakul the Eon's Torn. Wait, are people just straight up? Have I missed this? Have I missed this tech of people playing Little Emrakul? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Go down Vorinclex. Go down Obnixilis. Go down a Riveteer's Charm. Go down a Velki. Run it like that. Wait, who's... What modern decks are... All these decks are... No. This has to be a mistake on the site, right? It has to be the other Emrakul. Are all these decks actually playing... They are. Wait, why? It's got to be a mistake. It's got to be Emrakul the Eon's Torn, right? One of Emrakul the Eon's Torn in the sideboard is pretty popular tech to... I'm going to have to ask Richard if this is an error on the site. One of Emrakul the Eon's Torn is pretty popular tech to fight against Mill. You just play one Eldrazi in your sideboard and you can't lose to Mill. Okay. I mean, maybe everyone really is just playing one Emrakul Promised End in their sideboard. I guess that's not impossible. Wow, that's so weird. If that slot was Emrakul the Eon's Torn, it would make complete sense to me. But seeing it be Emrakul the Promised End is blowing my mind. Huh, I haven't gotten Emrakul in Modern in a very long time. I think our goose just died. Is other Emrakul here? No. Huh. Eh, interesting. One land, one keep. See, we got paid off. We got paid off. You just gotta trust the magic gods. Trust the magic gods, and you can keep any hand you want. Yeah, this definitely says one Emrakul the Promised End. I mean, I guess if you're playing Omnath, Omnath can ramp you into it. Emrakul the Promised End. Wild. Wild. All right, come on, land. Opponent hits us.
You're lucky this is a warning shot.
Light up the stage. Chandra Bone Crusher. Well, all right. Rotting Regizar. See, chat. Trust the magic gods. Just trust in the magic gods, and you will be rewarded for your faith with a Rotting Regizar. Right on time into Great Henge and Fight Rigging with a bunch of food left over. Oh, the greed. The greed. Found it. Takes up. So, oh. If they have burned that... Okay, Burning Tree into Solskar, that's fine. Opponent's done. Opponent. Opponent. Solskar Mage. Sure. Well, I don't think we're gonna need the Fatal Push. We're just gonna play huge things. Yes, Great Henge. And also Fight Rigging. How about a Titan of Industry? And... Guess we should... Well, whatever. Counter on Regizar. I think our opponent's just gonna scoop. We get to draw a card anyway. Life. Artifact and Enchantment. Yeah, pretty good. Hello, opponent. And yeah, we'll attack that. Got him! That was a good turn. After starting with a one-land keep. Haven't played MTG in 4 or 5 years. Just now getting back into it. How hard is it to get into Arena, and is it worth it? So Pocky Poppy. Good news is you can play Magic Arena literally for free. $0 spent. So that is the upside. So it is very possible to get into it. I would recommend getting into it. I would warn you though that Arena can also be a huge money drain, and it's going to be very tempting to spend a lot of money to speed up card acquisition. You can get every single card in the game for free, spending $0. But it's going to take some time to grind into it. So it really is how you interact with it. There's definitely complaints about Arena and the economy that are justified. And if you're someone who's spending money on it, it is very expensive. But I know lots of people who spend $0 and get a ton of enjoyment out of it and eventually grind into top tier decks. So I would definitely recommend it as someone coming back in the game. Just be warned that it can be a money sink if you start doing the paying method to get the cards you need. Also, I always recommend Magic Online. I don't know if you know Magic Online. It's been around forever. I love Magic Online. It's my favorite. It doesn't look as pretty. You do got to spend $5 to create your account, and it's different. You can't fully free to play it, but you can do so much more and have access to so many more cards on Magic Online compared to Magic Arena for the same amount of money. So, So yeah, I would recommend checking that out too. And we have them all on Moto like your grandpappy played, indeed. I guess we just run this out. It's gonna die anyway. Or gonna get discarded. I'm surprised our opponent's still playing this game, honestly. Go to combat. Counter on the Titan of Industry. Counter on Velky. Clothe us for free. It's a creature, draw a card. Maybe we just try to kill our opponent and forget about the Chandra for now. So yeah, if you know the YouTube, check out the YouTube. There's tutorials and so forth for all of that stuff. Getting started on Magic Online, getting started on Arena. There's a ton of stuff on there if you need help with it. So, opponent, or email me if you get stuck. Always reach out, saffronolive@mtgoldfish.com, or tweet me, and I will do what I can to help.
Aw, you're looking a little singed.
Getting a collection without paying is unrealistic. It's basically freemium gotcha mobile game concept. I think it depends on what your goal is. Like, if your goal is to just play casual Magic, I think that is attainable on Magic Arena. If your goal is to play, competitively in the top tier of the meta, that is pretty unrealistic without spending absurd amounts of time or lots of money. So I think it really depends on. Draft is also a good way to go about it. So I don't think that's 100% true, but yes, it is kind of a mobile freemium game model once you start playing. But it really depends on how you want to play though. I remember when I first started playing Magic, and I had my roommate's shoebox of cards that he got from his mom's house when he went off to college. He went back and got his box of cards, and that's what we had to build with. That's what we had. Those were the cards in our collection. That's what I built decks out of, and he built decks out of, and our other friends built decks out of. And we had a great time. Did we have, Dark Confidants and, the most expensive, best cards of the era in competitive decks? No, we didn't have any of that stuff. But we didn't care about any of that stuff. So I think that you can, if you're happy playing Arena that way, Arena does work okay for that. You get the, the new player starter decks, and you build your life gain deck and do that kind of stuff. That is true. That is where Arena starts to fall apart a little bit, is if you're building out of the shoebox, and I spent $300 each set to make content, and we're competing against each other on the ladder, you're going to be at a huge disadvantage. I guess there are probably like some exceptions, like maybe you, I don't know. Maybe you're able to, grind into that one tier deck or whatever and, have a good matchup. Like there are things like that that can happen, but it is true. Money is definitely a factor for sure. And sometimes a big factor. Yeah. I mean, honestly, rating isn't a big thing for me, although that does mean that we've lost a decent amount tonight. Getting to high mythic is actually pretty rare because of like a lot of the content. Budget decks and against the odds decks, especially testing and building them. Whew. The gates are my favorite parts of Commander Legends, and I am super excited for them. Oh, control. All right, last match most likely. The gates are my favorite part of Commander Legends. Played a lot of control tonight. I think that which gate is better is actually an interesting question. Land and Gilded Goose. So this is a pretty fast draw if nothing goes wrong. Opponent. I think both of the gates are very good. Gone Gate is absurd in a gate deck. It's a 5-color gate. That makes your gates come into play untapped. And it's uncommon, which I'm really thankful for. The other one is Cabal Coffers for gates, which is also absurd. So I think they're both very strong options. Well, let's get down fight rigging. Grab a whiff, I guess. Okay, so we should still be able to casualty, right? I think. Hopefully. Maybe we can do the double trouble here. Maybe we can take an... Oh! Come on now. Come on now. You gotta be kidding me. Really? Rip apart. Rip apart. Who plays Rip apart? Well, hit you for one. Well, that's a bummer. Rip apart in the main deck. That's innovative. Opponent. Is this just the same deck? This might just be the same exact deck. Well, let's play a fight rigging. Opponent. Okay, it resolves. We will hide away, I guess. I guess even more fight riggings because we keep whiffing. Go to combat. Opponent, caboose! Welcome to the fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you. Thank you. March of Otherworldly Light. Well, play the land, counter on the goose, hit you for 2. Pitch to Wandering Emperor. Opponent, untap land, Fires of Invention. Oh, this is the same exact deck. This is the same exact deck we just played. Yeah, this isn't good. Well, tap land go. Yeah, I think I'm feeling like we're pretty out of this. Draken, welcome to the fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you. Bonus cycles a trio. Well, it seems like Fires is making a comeback. And now our opponent gets Ciarion. 2 to the bottom. Well, Argus is getting beaten down here. Opponent gets free. Jeez, wow. Okay, cycles into the Transmogrify, and yeah. Fair enough. It's Explorer. Sadly, Historic is dead to me. That's a bit of an exaggeration, but not a huge exaggeration. But yeah, since I have not played a game of I've not played a single game of Historic since Explorer came online. I'm hopeful that Wizards will fix it. I don't know if they will. Also, seeing that the metas are incredibly different. So the big difference is Historic has all the digital only cards, supplemental product cards like Jumpstart and so forth. It has all the rebalances that Wizards does for Alchemy for some reason. And then Explorer is only paper cards and working towards being Pioneer once we get some more cards. A little smaller than Pioneer now because it's missing some of the sets, but that's the biggest difference. Well, tap land go. Double shakedown heavy. Opponent. I mean, Fires is good. It's just slow. Fires Yarion is good, but I'm not sure it's... I mean, this is a solid deck. It's a top tier Pioneer deck that doesn't really lose much going over to Historic. So it is definitely a good archetype, but it can definitely start like mono red in very aggressive decks. Mono black can usually have a pretty good matchup against it. Those decks, you're doing all this work to try to like transmogrify into an Agent of Treachery, which isn't very good against mono black or mono red, and you're just slow and clunky. So it's a good deck, but it's not like a broken deck, I don't think. Tap land for our opponent. We're hoping to draw green mana. Well, go to combat. Attack, yeah. Opponent takes it. Well, in that case, play a land. Obnixilis, casualty, sack it. Get some dorks.
Just obedient.
Dig up, dig up.
Defy me.
All right, opponent down to 10. Not an instant ultimate, but we can ultimate next turn. Opponent untaps. Given how Pioneer is going to be the flagship arena non-rotating format, I wonder if they'll start releasing sets like the Lord of the Rings set straight to Pioneer instead of straight to Modern. That would kill Pioneer. I mean, maybe kill is too strong of a word, but I think a big part of why Pioneer is so liked is that it doesn't have those cards. So I think that adding those cards would actually be a pretty huge negative. So that was actually one of my fears. I actually did a video about this, and that was one of my biggest fears is that Wizards would take and start adding all those supplemental products, and it would end up making the format a lot worse instead of better. What do we do here? Yeah, Fires decks they tend to be good stuff control piles. So we can ultimate and hit our opponent to 3, but that doesn't let us win. We can ultimate and refill our hand, but then that's a little risky. We can try to charm the Chariot. The question is, what do we do with our obs? That's the real question. Are we ultimating an ob? Are we running out Great Henge? We're also running out of time. All right, Tig up.
By coin or
Opponent discards.
tribute is owed.
Tick up.
Pleasure doing business with you.
Oh, opponent doesn't discard. The other problem with the passing plan is... Yeah, I don't think we can pass. The problem with passing is that our opponent can just Agent of Treachery and steal the ob. You have the win here. Wait, what? How do you think we win? Yeah, so opponent does have the Agent of Treachery to steal the ob. Gets a Yarion. Plays it, blinks there's... Yeah, I mean, that's... Yeah. That does it. Well, that's what we were afraid of, and that's... I mean, that's where you can see the power of Yarion Fires, is you get to, all in one turn, play an Agent of Treachery, blink the Agent of Treachery, and steal all your opponent's best stuff. Yeah, no, Obnixilis, the opponent either discards a card or takes 2 damage. So there's not a way to, that's part of the downside of Obnixilis. Can't actually kill someone with it if they aren't empty-handed and don't want to die, but almost. I mean, we could have got our opponent low, we could have hit him for 7, and then they start discarding. The other problem is, once we let our opponent draw 7, then they have all kinds of cards to discard, so we're never going to get through the rest of the damage, but... Well, those decks were pretty janky, I will say. I don't think that being in red for Obnixilis is really worth it, honestly. Now that we've played it, the idea sounds fun, but I think that Obnixilis is just not very good outside aggro. I think you gotta be full-on aggro. That's how you get around the Punisher part of it. And I don't think we were able to ultimate the Obnixilis and it just wasn't good. Like, we had the option and we passed on the option to ultimate it because it just wasn't effective. So I feel like maybe this is a deck we revisit and go back to straight Golgari. I know we played it in standard in Golgari, and it was really solid. If we go straight Golgari, we can add in some more big stuff on the top end. Maybe be Lovestruck Beast or something. Doesn't quite turn on fight rigging, but it's pretty close. So I think there's probably something sweet here. So we'll have to play around with it a little more. But I gotta say, Obnixilis in this deck, I don't think it really gets there. It's great in the like black aggro decks, but I don't think it's great in this deck because we just saw we couldn't even ultimate it when we wanted to. But anyway, everyone, I think that brings us to the end of our stream for tonight. Ooh, let me see a Witcherin. Ooh, Teamer Treasures. That looks super fun. Oh, I love me some stimulus packaging. Widespread Thieving. I haven't played any Widespread Thieving yet. I'm gonna have to try that. It is a really sweet card, and it does seem like it generates a lot of mana. Yeah, this is like one of the only hideaway cards that we haven't tried yet, so maybe we'll have to do some Widespread Thieving. That looks really fun. I like it. Anyway, everyone, reminders, Replay YouTube, that's where you'd find all the old streams. Normal YouTube, tons of stuff coming up on there. One more reminder that our sponsor today is Card Kingdom. And if you need some magical cards, you can get them over at cardkingdom.com. Even get a free goldfish sticker. Most importantly, thank you to each and every one of you. Y'all are amazing and awesome and spectacular and lovely. And I appreciate y'all so very, very, very much. So we will be back on Tuesday, fingers crossed, if all goes well during spoiler season, for the next stream. So that's the plan. In the meantime, spoiler stuff, tons of videos. Check it out on the YouTube. Have a great weekend, everyone. I love y'all, and I will talk to you soon.